Long live liberty. Welcome to America's Third Party, interactive, transparent, and ready to take phone calls. Okay, we got a call from DJ Bad Boy. How you doing, DJ Bad Boy? What's up? Go ahead.
Just wanted you to know that the site is having issues again, and they're actually working on the chat issue again.
Okay. All right. We are monitoring the chat, and we are monitoring my face. And so far, we're right on target. So you tell me when it can't come in, and just say, hey, we're having problems, and we'll just try to kick back and enjoy the show. We are not broadcasting on more than 3 networks to give you guys the best chance to see us. But thank you for calling, DJ Bad Boy. Appreciate it.
No problem.
All right. Take care. All right. So we are intermittent on our show tonight at America's Third Party. This is always a challenge because we are up against so many different DDoS attacks from various levels around the world. We don't know who's attacking us, but we do know that this is a planned attack against a third party, and it's been daily and constant. Earlier, before we started our show, we were getting people coming into our room calling me names, saying I would never become president. And this is the type of behavior that I think is indicative of a group of people that are fearful that a third party could shake up the status quo, the establishment that's doing absolutely nothing to solve the crisis in our country. Homelessness is now double what it was under Bush. Close to 4 million people now are living without a house in America. A country that claims to be prosperous has such a spread of wealth that it's more like we're right before the fall of the Ming Dynasty, with the super elite wealthy people running around with their head in the clouds thinking everything's fine, and they're driving their Teslas when people are in the street barely able to get by. I mean, we're talking inner city conflicts because of the lack of opportunity and job growth that we asked Barack Obama to do 7 years ago, and he hasn't done anything. He actually said, he's such a cavalier con artist that he actually said, well, I guess those shovel-ready jobs weren't so shovel-ready after all. I mean, he doesn't bear any responsibility for anything. So I'm at the point where I'm willing to tell you guys we've got solutions, folks. We've got a whole lot of solutions at americasthirdparty.com. And we believe that the key is to save those houses that are currently foreclosed on in our country. Now, the truth is, 11 million houses in America are right on the verge of going bankrupt, foreclosed. Their families can't meet their minimum payments on their houses. So when I become president, I'm going to issue a 12-month moratorium on payments on all houses. A cumulative 12 months, not just 12 months. You can stay in your house for 12 months rent-free. You can do that if you want. But if you need to skip a payment, that adds 1 month. Skip another payment, that's a second month until the 12 months are up, and that's when we go in and move on foreclosure. But the good thing is you're going to be able to get the first chance, the first right of receivership for a house, even your house, if you're the one who was evicted, in our program we call the Homestead Renewal Plan. And it's the flagship program for our country to build the houses that we have currently, fixing them up, renovating them, and get you guys a shovel-ready job. Anybody can paint walls, anybody can help lay carpeting, and frankly, anybody can do roofing, as long as you're tethered to a point on the roof where you're safe. We're also going to be putting solar rooftop panels up on these houses so that they will be able to pay for themselves over time and bring money back in revenue. Okay, I'm responding to the chat over at Vaughn tonight. We're going to kick on our show over at the other network, which I can't name because none of the networks want anyone to actually name them. It's not Socialism Hippopotamus. Actually, this is called Housing and Urban Development. And the program's already there. HUD has a program called the Home Program right now that I can modify to suit the Homestead Renewal Plan and make it happen as soon as I become president in 2017, when I hit the ground running. It's not socialism. It's actually using an existing amount of money, about $4 billion allocated for homes, that's currently going into the hands of slumlords. The Home Program's designed to buy up houses in receivership and fix them up. They're not doing it. Our government isn't working. David, what will these shovel-readies pay? Yeah, you're going to look at $10 an hour. $10 for an hour per shovel-ready job. You'll also be using one of those dollars, if you want. You can opt out of one of those dollars and put it toward a down payment on a house. So if you accept 9 hours, one of those dollars per hour will go to the down payment on a house, and you'll be having an opportunity to own a house. Now, these houses will run about $50,000 when they're looking like this. And you'll be able to have this house in your possession and own it outright in 10 years at $500 a month payments. Actually, the government's going to get $60,000 out of that, but it'll be including the interest on that note. If you were to pay $50,000 for this house and buy it, we'd love it. We thought that would be great, but we're not going to in any way offer these houses to investors. This is not going to anybody who's got multiple houses too. This would have to be your one and only house. We're not looking for people to buy these houses and flip them and make money on them. We're not here at the benefit of investors and unscrupulous venture capitalists that just want to suck money out of our system. Right now, that's what's happening. The truth is our entire nation is being sucked dry by these leeches, corporate leeches that hang around the corporate prostitutes we call leaders and suck off of their little pet projects and all their contracts. These are the new jobs. Now, I have another plan called an infrastructure bank offering 2% loans to U.S. businesses hiring U.S. citizens at a living wage of $15 an hour. That's where the new jobs are coming. And I've got a micro loan program of $1,000 to get started, and you could start your own home-based business for $1,000. As long as you pay back $40 plus $1,000 in 6 months, anytime within that period, we'll give you another $1,000. So you could begin to parlay that money and that capital into something like a small business, cottage industry. Now, the other great thing that I wanted to talk to all of you about, which is super important, and the most truthful thing I could talk about on Truth Tuesday, I think, is the fact that marijuana is a fantastic product that could help grow our economy. Now, you look at the stats here and you can see that no one has ever died of marijuana. Every year, 400,000 people die of tobacco. We've got 100,000 people dying of alcohol a year. And alcohol and tobacco are highly addictive. Marijuana doesn't have any physical addictive component whatsoever. So I anticipate a very large, robust growth process with the legalization of marijuana. And it will be the first thing I do is legalize marijuana. I am pro-hempoline. And I want to get our country back on the track of building products, not just throwing money at things like the Democrats, Republicans do. They just throw money at things and they expect them to somehow turn into a growing economy. There's no traction in this economy. It's pretty much right on the verge of borderline dead. It's languishing. We are in the doldrums. So in order to get traction in our economy, we need a program like legalization of marijuana that will issue forth new products that will be marketable and offer all kinds of hope for a lot of people. Plus, I mean, think of this house, for instance. This is something they profile on Cannabis Radio, but CannabisNationRadio.com has this. Walls made with hempcrete, solar windows made with hemp plastic. Think of all the new products that can be made, and some of these houses could actually be unibody constructed and airdropped by helicopter. That's how amazing these things could be, and they could actually be locked down to the ground, tethered to the ground, and you could start living in a completely efficient, highly insulated house that could offer you unbelievable protection against the elements. This is the future, everybody. So get on board this wave that we're on right now. ISIS is not the threat you think it is. One phone call to the CIA and the problem with ISIS is over. All right? Yeah, we have a serious tactical revision needed in our government's foreign policy. The ISIS plan is designed to fund basically maverick mercenaries that are living out there in the world wanting money. The government's been giving them money and then putting out fake videos of beheadings. They think that they can somehow get the American people to be so frightened of this new emerging threat against terrorism that we're going to justify more war in Syria and Iran and any number of other places. And I promise you, I will subtract troops from the Middle East. We will not be sending more ground troops in. I'll be pulling out the contingency of ground troops that are currently in areas like Kabul and Kandahar as we build up fortified solutions to the problem in Afghanistan. The problem we've had so far is our country has been spending a huge amount of money literally protecting the warlords of Afghanistan to produce more heroin. So what I'm proposing is a plan to actually bring on weapons-free safe zones in those countries, in Afghanistan and Iraq, and create a safe area for people to live, and then begin to pull the troops out once they have reached that area where there's a safe haven for people to go to. This will be protected areas outside of Kabul and Kandahar that will provide growing opportunities. We'll be able to raise pomegranates as opposed to opium. We'll be able to produce aquifers made with desalinated water that will be driving from areas of salt water near to the area that we are currently describing, especially in Iraq. It'd be ideal in Iraq. But I don't want to go into that weapons-free safe zone concept right now, but it is a brand new strategy that will erase the ISIS threat. You know, the problem is pot is better than heroin, and that's why pot is illegal. Okay, somebody says, David, I can't take you seriously. You're too handsome and well-spoken to be anything but an Illuminati spokesman. How wrong you are. I am the exact opposite of that. I'm completely dedicated to the American people and have been since we started this 6.5 years ago. Sarah and I are just average people with a great idea for this country. And there will be a lot of new opportunities for many people to explore growth in our economy once we free up the free market. I have 185 IQ, so don't belittle me, please. Thank you. David, I'm a victim of affirmative action. I can't go to college at this time. Any thoughts on a way to legally make money? Well, yeah. You're facing the same problem I faced when I was 19 years old. Actually, 18. I got 3 jobs. I worked at a movie theater, a very famous movie theater. I'm not going to name the one, but I worked at a very famous movie theater. I worked at Bullock's department store back when it was in existence. And I also worked as a t-shirt manager for a t-shirt company, delivering and manufacturing t-shirts to the stars. Rock stars like John Cougar Mellencamp and people who, Jefferson Airplane, these are the people that bought our t-shirts. So I basically did 3 jobs at your age, and I would urge you to start working, because when you get to be my age, you're going to want to kick back a little bit and save your money. Save as much as you can. So get working in the real world and find an area that you can actually, maybe possibly get comfortable with the employer and maybe get a long-term position. I would not rule out working as a checker in a store, especially if you're 18. You can clearly move up to a normal salary of $20 an hour if you work hard. But again, it's kind of a dead-end job, but it's still money in the bank. Working as a box boy. Things like that. But with our $1,000 micro loan program, we will give any U.S. citizen $1,000 to get started, and we'll be able to get you going on a home business of your own. Now, let me tell you the best part of what I would have given you being you're a victim of affirmative action. Many of the people in our country who are not a minority are being cut back in college time for getting a grant. I'm going to make a couple modifications. We're going to double the size of Pell Grants, and we're going to lock those Pell Grants onto guaranteed tuition so that colleges that take and cash those Pell Grants can't keep jacking you up for tuition. They have to get to a tuition level that's affordable and within the guide of the double Pell Grant. It has to be within that level. We're also going to stipulate that they can't gouge you on your books. Your books will only get 15% markups, not 40 and 50% like we see currently at bookstores in our country. We also have a plan to actually create, this is anybody's house, this could be anybody's. We have a plan to create an education program, a 6-week to 6-month training program where you can actually get certification in an area that'll get you a decent job. That's partnered with the private sector in your area, and we know they're hiring. That's the kind of job that we're going to train you for. And that's why I'm bringing you solar panels here, so you can see that this is a big part of our training plan. We're going to mass produce solar panels at the federal level and get them under $1 a watt and get them to be like a roll of carpeting. So we will give a roll to every house in America that wants them once we have this thing produced and ready to go. And we will make money out of it long term from the electricity that you're going to save on your rooftop. All right, let's address the chat. Currently, my guidance is according to a document that was produced in 2013 on marijuana legalization. I do have some solar panels, but I'm not ready to buy an array because the cost is too high and the quality is too low. We need to get more efficient solar panels, and we need to mass produce them. I have a BB gun, yes. It can fire a lot of BBs, yes. I don't even know if you can afford an assault BB gun, but the canisters are quite expensive. Let's get serious, okay? Yeah, once I legalize marijuana and pull it off the list of controlled substances, this document will be irrelevant. Just so you know, and Mr. NSA, thank you. Am I electable? I think I've got more things going against me than any other person on earth. Number one, I don't have the experience that you'd expect from a politician, but I ran for a local office recently and I was pretty much cheated against. 90% of my signs were stolen when I was running for a local office, and they vilified me in the press because I had to do a blackface impersonation video of Barack Obama in 2008, and they used it against me, as I thought they would. But then they even denied me access to any mainstream media attention. So I'm electable in so many different ways because I continued to move forward despite all odds. That alone, it makes me electable. Most people would crumble under the pressure that I've been under over the past 6 years. Frankly, our campaign doesn't require a lot of funding right now. It's a grassroots campaign relying solely on word of mouth. Most of our sites on the internet have been censored by government agencies. They've shut down our hit counters on YouTube. So it's basically what you see is what you get. And if you can tell people about us, tweet our third-party address, talk about us, americasthirdparty.com, and on blogs, it'll help us immensely. Talk to your friends and family. But word-of-mouth advertising is the only advertising that the government cannot control. Our nation is currently censoring the press. There are CIA censors at every single network in our country. Right. For now, the document stands. The NSA document they sent me, the memorandum to all U.S. attorneys about marijuana, stands. And one of the reasons why I have not gone into the marijuana business here in Washington is because of this memo. Ironically, it does not guarantee my safety and security if I were to become a distributor or producer of marijuana, even if it's legal in the state of Washington. And that's what makes this document really kind of shady, that Barack Obama, a man who claims he smoked marijuana most of his adult life, now will not even think of legalizing it. It shows you that he is a true hypocrite. And that we're going to shred that document and show you the truth once 2017 rolls along. But right now, it is the document that we have to abide by. So I want to remain 100% FEC compliant, and I'm going to do everything I can to follow the letter of the law regarding that document. But no, we need to grow our economy, and it's going to happen this way. Walmart's low wages have led to full-time employees seeking public assistance, folks. Wow, upstate. These are the 47%. These are not the 47% of lazy, unmotivated bums. Rather, these are the people working physical, often difficult jobs. They receive $2.66 billion in government help each year. This is an example of what Walmart's doing. They're leaning on state services like education and healthcare to finance their low wages so that the Walton family can make $13 billion. You know, I'm not going to outlaw the Spanish language, guest 1206, but I will definitely make America the official language in my fast-track naturalization plan for people to become a U.S. citizen. They'll have to learn English. We won't print the citizenship test up in Swahili. We're not going to outlaw any language, though. I am completely compliant and I check out. Thank you. Yeah, but there's a lot of industry growing in our area. I went to a marijuana recreational store today that was having a Cinco de Mayo celebration, and they were offering free tacos and sodas and donuts. I didn't eat anything because I'd already eaten, but I was blown away by the quality of their products. They have testers out with various grades of marijuana, sativa, indica. Someone is trying to shut me down. That's true. I keep freezing. I know. Well, the guys at that marijuana supply store, recreational supply store, really know how to do business. I'll tell you that. I've complimented them a couple times. I said, yeah, I did get some oregano. Actually, I found a deal that was pretty remarkable. But that was like a promotional deal. And they said, yeah, we're not making any money. All the money is going to Washington state taxes. They literally weren't making any money on the sale of anything today. They were just trying to promote business. Yeah, but we don't know anything about that. And we do know that I have a copy of it, and the original version was a death threat, and it'll be prosecuted as a libelous defamatory death threat. And the person who created that site, when we get them arrested someday, will be serving some serious hard time for what they're doing right now. It's not in any way legal to slander a person and make lies about what I do and what I say. Okay, JP Morgan is asking to dent your tin food and then ask for a discount to save a few dollars. I don't know if that's legal to, mutilate merchandise at Walmart and then ask for a discount, JP Morgan. Are those the kind of tactics you're using as a company? You know that JP Morgan has $184 billion out in life insurance on some of their employees? And there's been some strange deaths recently at JP Morgan. You know that, right? JP Morgan has had a slew of suicide murders. It's kind of strange. Suicidings are becoming popular at that company, and I don't know what to think. Staffers in a string of suicides over the past few years. This news is pretty shocking. This is from the New York Post. Staffers in string of suicides over the past year. This is from February of 2011. I'll show it to you guys. You said the last 5 minutes has bleeped you becoming an official in your hometown in any fashion. Oh, well, don't worry about it, 456. You're banned from the room because I'm actually going against the grain of the entire political structure. If you don't think I'm going to get elected in my local area, I'm not running for any office right now in my local area. I'm running for president of the United States to bisect this entire problem and create a tripartisan government to solve the problem by coming up with solutions in the center of the political spectrum. If you're saying legalization is going to get me ruined politically, may I remind you that 58% of our population wants legalization of recreational marijuana? I missed you. 58%. I don't know what country you come from, but 58% is a landslide victory in my country of America. Now, I might want to remind you, too, that 72% of all young people under the age of 25 want legalization. So a preponderance of people are going to want me as their president because I will legalize it as the first thing I do. So you, sir, are misinformed. Okay, let's talk about expensive health care, because the truth really is shocking what's happening in our country right now with health care. I'm going to pull off a couple things off the screen and talk about our ideas which will revolutionize the healthcare industry rather quickly. I'm coming up with a bypass solution for our healthcare crisis. Let me look at this article for a second, though. I want to read it. Yeah. Michael Tabachi, 27, of Gloucester, New Jersey, killed himself and his wife, Iran Pars Tabachi, 41, on Friday. Julian Knott shot his wife, Alida Knott, to death before turning the gun on himself in Lake Hopatcong, New Jersey. 11 months earlier, former JP Morgan investment banker Kenneth Belando, 28, jumped to his death from his East Side apartment. And all of them have insurance policies with JP Morgan. So JP Morgan collected on every one of these deaths. I'm easy to get to know online, yeah. And people who talk to me in person really are fine. I don't have any close friends except for Sarah anymore. primarily because of what has been going on. Has been challenging for a lot of people, especially my friends who don't understand why I would ever want to create a third party. They don't understand why it's so important to create a third party, which I find rather unusual. I find them out of touch with reality, actually. So many of my friends I've kind of severed ties with of the past. I don't want them to think that they have special favor with me either. Yeah. I'm not stuck in a rut. Things are growing for us here. We are actually expanding. Our entire venue has included a lot more viewers in the past year, and we are still functioning on a process of being 100% FEC compliant and moving forward with the concept of building this third party for 2016. You're in a very unique position, all of you, because we're at a point where this is possible. In about 10 years, the internet will be more of an intranet, and it will not be possible to pay or get a free venue like we get right now on TV or on the internet. We aren't getting any mainstream media attention, but I can tell you, I'm not a millionaire, and I'm not like every other politician. I'm the unviable candidate, meaning I don't have any greed or materialism in my mind or my body. I'm basically a person who likes to live in a simple way, and I'm unviable. And I'll do whatever you want me to do. If 2/3 of this country want to do something, I will go in that direction. Go ahead. Be down. Okay, we're going to be down with this.
Bye.
Okay. Well, I guess it didn't work out. Yep, there's my detail. You can talk about, you can look up my candidacy and check me out all about our finances. Everything is 100% accurate, and we meet the quarterly reports dutifully. That's why I had to laugh when somebody said, you speak so well and you're obviously good looking or whatever that takes. You must be an Illuminati shill. No, we're the real deal, folks. We are average Americans. And we're trying to do what is best for our country. I'm going to appeal to a lot of average Americans too. Hey there, be down. What's up?
Not much. What's up, Fidel? Hey, just want to get your thoughts on the feds approving the ferry service to Cuba. Yeah. You gonna be riding that ferry, Dave, to Cuba?
I opened a door of trade in my mind 6 years ago with Cuba. I said to my group that we would have a small opening of trade, like maybe Cuban cigars, Havana cigars, possibly trading some doctors in our public hospital system that we're going to deploy. But in no way did I want a wide open ferry ride to Cuba. In fact, it could go the other way, and we could have boat people arriving on the shores of Florida by the next month.
Bobby Jackson.
Okay, Bobby Jackson. I'm going to add Bobby Jackson to the show. Here's an example of a mobile medical unit that we're going to be deploying, something like this, maybe larger. Hey there, how you doing? What's your question, Bobby?
Yeah, I just heard that call was question just now, so that's why I called in. He said, what about the ferry service to Cuba?
Yeah.
It leads a slow boat to China, doesn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. I just think it's going to go the other way. I think there's going to be a lot of people like Ted Cruz coming on a boat, coming to our country to try to take over our nation. His father is Cuban, and he's not really a U.S. citizen. So Bill O'Reilly is
Who's not a U.S. citizen?
Ted Cruz. He's a Canadian. He's trying to run as a U.S. citizen. It's kind of sad. What do you think of Bill O'Reilly's views? I don't think Bill O'Reilly has any views. I think he's just a pundit, a person who does whatever the powerful media brokers tell him to say. You notice that Bill O'Reilly won't talk about 9/11.
He's a big bully.
He's a big bully, yeah. And he won't talk about 9/11. He won't allow a truther on his show. Now, before I get to 9/11, I want to talk about how I'm going to lower health care.
Will he get on your show and do an interview over here?
Sure.
This is the show to get on.
Yeah.
And to do, if you think he'd do the spin zone over here with you, Dave, I think you'd tear him up.
I think I'd rip him a new one. Maybe he could crap all over himself. Let me take a look at Bill O'Reilly. Many of you don't realize that he's not Bill O'Reilly, the guy that we think he is. This is Bill O'Reilly.
Tomorrow, and that is it for us today. Yeah.
Okay.
That's tomorrow, and that is it. Again, 5, 4,
2, 3, 2.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. And we will leave you with I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it.
Okay, not he's a guy who never really reveals that serious side of himself.
That guy's a fucking nigger.
We don't allow any racism whatsoever on our show, as you know. Please don't use the N-word on our show. It's inappropriate. Thank you. All right, so a lot of this is really, Bill is a shill. I agree. Now, the healthcare system that I'm proposing will be adapted to our VA system. I'm going to modernize the Veterans Administration completely as your president and commander-in-chief of our military forces. We're going to modernize our system and talk about low-cost healthcare. And the low-cost healthcare we're going to do is a pairing off with a Veterans Administration makeover. You've seen the show Extreme Home Makeover. Well, this is Extreme Home Healthcare Makeover. This is a chance to use the existing funds in our system to actually finance a revision of our Veterans Administration and create telemedicine vehicles at the same time. Now, I've estimated the cost of our telemedicine system to be initially $1 billion to produce the vehicles, and there'll be 200 of them initially. $1 billion. We should be able to build these within a 6 month to a year period using technologies here in America, homegrown technologies like the ones in Detroit and outside of Chicago. We've got a lot of manufacturers of trucks that we can adapt and build these. And then we can train EMTs in your area that could go to the center we make the trucks, train on the trucks, and then we'll send the trucks to your town and you'll have a job. No, Carl's been working pretty hard on his own. He's got a separate job that he spends time doing. So this is a mobile medical VA system that we're proposing. But this truck right here is actually working at Loma Linda right now. And I've got some pictures of this truck that'll blow your mind. This thing is amazing. It was built by Mercedes-Benz, and it can do some technology maneuvers that most people would never even imagine. Every single truck will be retrofitted with an onboard ultrasound, portable X-ray, and a portable open MRI. So we'll be able to get this stuff going rather quickly. Let me play you a video of the mobile medical unit. Go ahead, what's your question?
Nobody knows when the next big disaster will strike.
Medic Engine 251, Medic Truck 251, Medic Squad 251, Engine 264, Battalion 1102, Tactics on
Earthquakes, wildfires, hurricanes, flash floods, and mudslides can interrupt communications and transportation. These interruptions can prevent patients from getting the essential medical care they need. To meet these challenges, the Discoveries Project at Loma Linda University Medical Center and Children's Hospital have unveiled a revolutionary advancement in emergency medicine, the Mobile Telemedicine Vehicle. The Mobile Telemedicine Vehicle, or MTV, is the next generation of alternative response vehicles. It is designed to respond to unique emergency and disaster situations. In a disaster, patients can be cut off from hospital and other vital care. By utilizing telemedicine technology, the MTV brings the expertise of a critical care medical center to anywhere in the country. The Mobile Telemedicine Vehicle is a one-of-a-kind vehicle built specifically for Loma Linda University Medical Center by Mercedes-Benz and Unicat of Germany, engineers of the ultimate all-terrain expedition vehicles. Featuring a chassis design that allows for maximum off-road capabilities, the MTV is able to bring medical expertise to areas that could be otherwise unreachable during a disaster. The body of the MTV is also unique. Created with layers of fiberglass reinforced polyester, the body is extremely lightweight but durable enough to withstand abuse. Housed inside the MTV for additional flexibility is a Yamaha all-terrain vehicle. It can be deployed to access areas that require a much smaller vehicle or to scout the terrain and then communicate back to the MTV. It is not only the exterior and mechanical.
Okay, somebody called in. He's worried that maybe these units will be used as FEMA vehicles. That somehow these vehicles, hey there, we're online with somebody who's concerned about these vehicles being used as FEMA vehicles. No, these are not death mobiles like they have in China, where they send people to to their death and then they harvest their organs. We won't be doing that. That's the death mobile right there. That's the death mobile they have.
These vehicles be funded, Dave.
Okay, we're going to be funding these with the existing super fund. The VA super fund still has a few $1 billion left, believe it or not. And the VA super fund will be providing a solution to the veterans. Veterans will get free health care, but non-veterans will have to pay a copay. Now, this caller had another question about how Chicago is the most segregated city in America. Isn't that interesting? Segregated. And how can that be? And you asked me, how is that possible? Well, people oftentimes live in separate areas. But I suggested the entire homestead renewal plan could actually bring people together. People of all different colors could work together to fix up houses. It's not a colorblind thing. It can get people together and share. And when people work together, they develop a certain camaraderie. The problem is when people are standing there in a group, they'll basically hang with their own color. This is a common phenomenon. It happens in prisons. It happens throughout society. It even happens in the animal world. Ergo, the name black sheep. It's always kept away from the white sheep. Well, when people work together and gain pride in what they're doing, they're going to want to, communicate. And that's the way we're going to have a natural process of integration. I in no way support forced integration, but I am an integrationist. I support integration in theory, but clearly if people want to segregate, I can't stop that. And in no way can we mandate people to be together. All right, good call.
You think there's going to be more segregation going on?
No.
In like California?
No.
New York?
No, what's happening is they're trying to open up the border and make everyone dislike all the illegal aliens. But when it comes down to it, people just want to have low-cost healthcare services. And they don't want an open border with people draining their services. I met a family from Phoenix that petitioned outside of a hospital in Phoenix, Arizona. They were a Caucasian family that were saying, hey, when we go to ER, it costs us $1,000. How come an illegal alien goes there and costs them nothing? And these are issues that are going to be addressed by this healthcare solution. Now, these units will travel around in every city offering preventative health care, triage, a diagnostic care for as low as $25 a copay. So this is something that would actually, lower the cost of healthcare by providing a low-cost solution at the VA level. We then expand out to all the public hospitals and the nonprofit public hospitals.
This call is now being...
The ones that are currently offering administrators salaries of $800,000. Our government could clearly say, no way, you're not going to get an $800,000 a year salary. I'm sorry, you're working at a public hospital. We will cap salaries at $150,000, even doctors. And we'll cover your malpractice insurance. So no, it's not socialism. The government controls what is nonprofit public hospitals. And we have the right to set prices on x-rays, doctor's visits, you name it. We can do that with all our public hospitals, and I can integrate a public option. Which I think would have been great, frankly. Say $60 a month for full health care and dental coverage. $60 a month per person would probably really work. No, it is broken. Have you ever been to a hospital and charged $14,700 for one day in the hospital? I just saw a bill from our local hospital on Whidbey Island, Washington, for $14,700 for one day in the hospital. A guy had a heart pain or chest pain, he went in. That is a broken system. Yeah. I'm sorry, but anyone who's charged and he didn't even have any surgery or even any invasive, he didn't even have any kind of a stent put in, nothing. Just diagnostic, $14,700. So yeah, it is broken. And we are offering a solution that will not impair the private sector. In no way will I lower the profit margin for companies that are still private. Private hospitals will still make their big money. Private doctors make all the big money, but there's a lot of doctors that don't want to go through the rigmarole of paperwork and the bureaucracy of malpractice insurance. So we'll cover the malpractice insurance under our national opt-in plan, which is a public option. And we anticipate about 20 million users the first year, which will bring $12 billion in capital initially, and we'll be able to finance the public hospitals and the nonprofit hospitals and the mobile medical VA system at the same time. So if you go in there and you don't have any money, Medicaid will kick in, but it won't be paying $1,500 for your visit, like we do now for an ER Medicaid bill, it'll be paying $25 in Medicaid. You see? Big difference between $1,500 and $25. Yeah, go ahead.
I had chest pains one time, and I checked into the hospital, and I was there, and they did all types of tests on me for one night. And I checked out the hospital the next day because they wouldn't feed me. I'm diabetic. And they sent me a $15,000 bill.
You too?
And,
are you serious? Really? Wow.
$15,000. And in the middle of the night, I was sleeping, and they came in the room, and the guy said my name, and he pulls out a needle, and it's a flu shot. I didn't order a flu shot. I came there because my chest hurt.
Yeah.
And I said, I didn't order that. He said, oh, it's for you. It's for prevention. I said, I didn't order that. And you just woke me up. I mean, please, I'm just let me know, And I went there because maybe I was stressed out. I don't know why I was having chest pain, but they stressed me out even more. And then when I got the $17,000 bill, I was definitely
$15,000 bill. Yeah. If you're gonna lie, you got to be sure you get the numbers right. Yeah, 15,000.
17.
Are you serious? Was it 17,000? You're not lying. You're telling me the truth. This is unbelievable. Wow. All right.
I could take a snapshot and email it to you. They have an email address.
No, I don't need to see it. I've seen them. Others like it.
There was one for $15,000, and there was a couple other ones for the blood work.
Wow.
But the tab was about $17,000, and one night in the hospital.
Yep.
Nuclear stress test. I mean, Dave, is that right?
Dude, that's exactly what the guy I talked to, it was charged about $15,700. I don't think it's right. No. Are you diabetic, or do you need constant insulin or anything like that? Or because I heard insulin's going up across the board. People can barely afford their insulin shots to stay alive. So these units will have an onboard pharmacy which will offer low-cost generic solutions.
I have an insulin pump, Dave.
You have an insulin?
I have an insulin pump, and I went in there, and they wanted to put an IV in me and put their own insulin. I told them, I said, listen,
wow,
I can do this. My insulin pump works very well.
Mm-hmm.
I just need, help with the chest. And but they're all about money.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you another thing, Dave. Now that I remember, I was there for a day, just one night, and they took these little things they put on your leg, and it massages your leg.
Mm-hmm.
And they told me it was for my circulation because I'm sitting there.
Right. That was like $1,000.
They charged me $400 a piece for those suckers.
$400 for the auto massager. Wow. It's unbelievable, man.
It was for my circulation. I was only there for a day, one day.
Yep.
I didn't even need it. I didn't ask for it.
Yeah, you're dealing with a massive ripoff. Massive. I'm convinced right now they're ripping us all off.
They're helping you out that you need it,
Yeah.
Because doctors knows best, but it's really, I mean, those niggers get you.
The figures that you're mentioning are a little bit off. I'm talking about real numbers, not the figures you're describing. I'm talking about the numbers of $14,700 for one day, and that's a real number. I'm not talking crap here. Yeah, this is a sad reality. There's so much hatred out there, and I don't approve of that hatred. I want our country to get along. I mean, like Rodney King says, can't we just get along? Remember that infamous speech by Rodney King? I think it's I have a dream, I want crack cocaine speech. Or was that Barack Obama? Well, let's be clear. I smoked crack cocaine at Occidental College. That was his dream. And now he has another dream, destroying our country. How's that working out for all of you? Many of you voted for Barack Obama. Let's be clear. Let's see. Please don't be the same caller. I mean, caller hell. No, we're not going to take that call. We are 707, your ATP, if you want to call us from any phone in the U.S. Even if you're in the outlying area, you can get a dial out to get to the number. Feel free. We want to talk to U.S. citizens, but, we have lots of followers in our show from Japan, arigato, and England. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for coming into our show. Or perhaps Spain. Gracias, amigo. No, I don't owe $56,000. No, I don't owe any money at all. I'm debt free, and I'll remain that way for the rest of my life because I don't plan on getting sick. I don't have $30. No, I have 30 gerbils in a cage. I keep them for entertainment, but no, not bucks or deer. Actually, I might have $30 on the island here. They're big buck deer. Jeffrey, we got a call from Jeffrey. Jeffrey, go ahead. What's your question? Hi.
Hey, did you see the report about China selling the IBM or buying the IBM piece that the Pentagon's really worried about?
No, I missed it. I'm going to have to look that up. IBM, China. Let me take a look. This is kind of controversial. I take it it's involving the latest on the MH370 cell phone call? No. IBM, China development. IBM to share technology with China in a strategy shift? Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. And the brilliance behind the IBM's China strategy. Okay. You know, when I went to a conference down in Silicon Valley, I saw an IBM executive there that was Chinese. He was a national Chinese guy. I was like, so you're the coder? Oh, yeah, code for IBM. Okay. So no, IBM did a lot of outsourcing, and now we're going to look at their deal. Okay, I'm going to pull the mobile medical off the screen. If you have any questions about it, you can certainly go check it out on our website, americasthirdparty.com. We will certainly talk about... are you laughing?
No, it's coughing.
Oh, okay. I thought I got a laugh out of you there. Okay, IBM to share technology with China in a strategy shift, according to the CEO. These are the people that brought you the counters that Hitler used to measure the number of ethnic minorities in the death camps. So what else can we expect from IBM here? Selling out to the Chinese government? IBM Corp will share technology with Chinese firms and will actively help build China's industry? Oh my God. You know, go ahead.
I think that they sell drugs to niggers.
Wiggers? There was a Wigger movement at one time. Apparently I am being tormented by the same caller. Can anyone else call me, please? Anyone? But I didn't know about the IBM sharing technology. That was good. At least he brought something to the table. I love Dave's ideas. Thanks. I'm like, yeah! Go, 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 Dave! Go, Dave! Go, Dave! All right, let's get into something a little bit more appropriate for our show tonight, okay? I can't take any other callers from the same person. Well, let's be clear. Hello? Well, just to exercise nonviolence. If two black kids harassed you, yeah, just try not to get into an attack of any kind. When I was at Cub Scout gathering at the Forum in Los Angeles, we went to see a Laker game back when they played there at the Forum. And I was with my entire scout groups, and we were in this typical yellow school bus, and about 20 kids, 2 or 3 adults. And a bunch of gang members came by and threatened to kill us in the Inglewood area. I was really quite shocked that, I was a little 10-year-old going, why are they threatening to kill me? What did I do to them? Well, they were ghetto people, What are you doing hanging out with a bunch of kids? Well, that was me when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I hung around other kids when I was 10. True story. It's Cinco de Jade Helm, everybody. Hola, everybody. The nice thing about Jade Helm is they're only going after U.S. citizens. They're not after the illegal aliens. Go ahead. Hey. Okay, we got Businessman on the phone. Businessman, what's going on? We're moving on to another subject now. We're open to any true stories that, you want to talk about. What's up?
Well, I threw something out there for the ATP Twitter feed. Excuse me, my voice is harsh. But it's regarding the Jade Elm situation and how a congressman pretty much confirmed that something will be going on. I'll share that link momentarily here after I finish my cigarette.
No problem.
But if Congress is acknowledging it, or congressmen or women, that it's a 5-month exercise, and it's literally supposed to last 5 months.
Yeah.
It's kind of sort of, it seems like it's aiming towards the veterans.
Yeah.
And gun owners.
Right. That's exactly what they're doing. They want to disarm the country, and they want to suppress any resistance. And they went after Texas big time, businessman, because Texas has got the largest number of gun owners. 234 million.
They mess. They're messing with the wrong place, because Texas. A lot of those, the constitutionalists, the real patriots, they don't mess around. They have boxes and boxes of ammo. They have 50 cals. They have AK-47s that can do single shot.
Right.
They have all that stuff.
I know.
So they're picking a fight, and you know what? As George Bush said, don't mess with Texas. And, yeah.
Well, this is the thing. Texas is an area they want to stimulate a obvious rebellion. They chose an area that's pretty harsh on the gun rights, and they definitely would react. So if this Jade Helm thing is a psyops to create fear in America,
you mean they're very easy on the gun rights over there?
Well, they're easy. They're big on gun rights. They support gun rights,
yes.
And anyone who tells them they're going to disarm are going to respond with violence. And so if the government is initiating a psyop operation that will actually trigger violence in the United States, they've chosen the states most likely to do that. That makes sense.
Well, I don't call Texans hillbillies, because they're not hillbillies, but Texans are a lot smarter than they know.
Oh yeah.
There's a reason they live. There's a reason they live in Texas. Okay.
That's right.
So they know they know who's going to be out there blowing smoke, and they know. They know there's a lot of preppers out there. There's a lot of quote unquote militias out there that are, they are going to dispatch each other, and they're going to stand up against it.
I hear you, buddy. And everything in Texas is great. The best part about Texas is great. Everything's great. And the best thing about Texas is the best thing about Texas.
I'd love to move to Texas. I'd love to move to Arlington.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a lot of people in Texas. And if you go down to Texas, you'll meet a lot of good people too.
See, David, the problem with Texas is that you can't smoke any weed over there, and if you do, you're like, it's a felony. Well,
that's why
you try to get you for it.
Well, that's why you should move to Colorado. Go to Colorado. Don't go to Texas, son. If you want to smoke pot, you better get your butt up to Colorado. Yeah. That's the way to go.
No, they were advocating actually yesterday. Speaking of that subject, they were advocating yesterday at the governor's office for veterans to be able to obtain medicinal marijuana, but because of the restriction of the federal government, veterans cannot get medicinal marijuana because it's banned by the Fed. And now what they're trying to do is, there's a whole bunch of veterans getting together saying, WTF, I don't want to take your Prozac. I don't want to take your Klonopins, your Xanaxes, and all your stuff. Just give me an ounce of pot and leave me alone.
Right. I hear you. A lot of people are using self-medication to cure their problems. They're considering medical marijuana in a lot of states like Texas. So medical marijuana is a first opportunity.
It's a situation, though, Dave, because it's a big conflict. It's veterans, which are, here's the hypocrisy in this. I told you about the hypocrisy with D.C. legalizing weed while the federal government bans it.
Yeah.
Now, the hypocrisy with the VA is that the VA is not government owned, or as they say, and they continue to claim that they're completely separate from the Department of Defense or any government agency, but yet they're imposing the same BS.
Yeah, I know. The VA has a lot of issues they're taking your personal data as a veteran and selling it to commercial enterprises for testing purposes and statistical purposes. You could get a call.
Yeah, of course.
You could get a call from somebody at the testosterone clinic in your area and say, "Hello, I understand you have a veteran's record of having used testosterone injections. We'd like to know more about you. This happened to Dr. Mount, actually. Dr. Mount doesn't have any testosterone. And he has a problem there. And so they wanted him to actually get involved in the study because he said, you also do not use GMOs, Dr. Mount, so we want you to be a person in our study. So they wanted a person who doesn't use GMOs with no testosterone to balance their study to show that GMOs don't, in fact, lower your testosterone. It's crazy. They're trying to stack their statistics, and they're using the VA records to access people like Dr. Mount or yourself. He was an Army captain for 7 years and got out with disability. So,
okay, here's the link I wanted to show you about the Jade Helm. It's coming out of Red Flag News.
Okay, cool.
I would just like to read you a little excerpt of this here. It just flat out says that U.S. Special Operations Command is preparing to launch a 5-month multi-state exercise across private and public land to prepare Army Special Forces for threats anywhere in the world, but yet they're training here. Or at least that's why the Pentagon would want you to believe. Officials and citizens in Texas, one of the states involved, see something potentially more nefarious in the exercise, dubbed Jade Helm 15, and now Representative Louis Gohmert is joining them. So he's for it.
Okay, Louis.
I mean, not. He's against it. That's what I gathered from that statement.
Warns military about
anyway,
intentionally practicing war against states. Yeah, this is a violation of posse comitatus. The entire Jade Helm event should be illegal. Classic.
This is his exact quote. Over the past few weeks, my office has been inundated with calls referring to the Jade Helm 15 military exercise scheduled to take place between July 15th and September 15, 2015, Gomer said in a Tuesday statement. This military practice has some concern that the U.S. Army is preparing for modern-day martial law. Certainly, I can understand these concerns.
Yeah,
so,
good.
Guys on our side.
I'm so glad. And this gentleman is he's a congressman who's stepping out and doing what is necessary to complain. Folks, there's been a lot of things that have happened recently. I don't want to overlook the simple fact that there's suicidings going on around the country that don't make any sense. Remember in Missouri, we heard about the guy who wanted to run for governor, and as soon as he announced the plan to go for governor, he was killed, or they made it look like a suicide. And this is a guy who's actually been instrumental in stopping the corruption in Missouri, and now he's dead. The controller, and he was going to run for a governorship, and he basically died. And his guy who was going to do his fundraising, kind of like the Christopher Kelly of the Rod Blagojevich scenario, but his guy also killed himself with a gun last week. I'm a little concerned that this is happening. What is going on here is a willful attempt to shut down anybody who stops corruption in our country at any level. Okay, let's get back to the issue of martial law. The Posse Comitatus Act was repealed in 2011. Well, it shouldn't have been repealed. In fact, we should get it back on board, and we should work toward it because it was designed specifically to not use the Army within the interior of the United States. And as somebody just told me, Guest 729 just said that the National Guard has been told to not ask questions about Jade Helm. Wow.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's what he said. I don't know. I can't confirm that.
Can you repeat that?
He said the National Guard, Guest 729 said the National Guard, or 792 said the National Guard has not been allowed to ask questions. Normal training is broken down to small groups, not entire forces. Okay. You seem to know more about it, 792. Jade Helm was created in 1961. 792 knows more about this than most of us. It seems that he has some inside information on the National Guard. National Guard has been told to not ask about Jade Helm. That's what he says in the chat room. So the governor candidate suicides. Let me see what that came up with. I just want to bring this up because it dead of an apparent suicide, but come on, this guy wasn't going to kill himself. He was going to run for governor. I mean, a guy like this does not just kill himself, and his assistant just killed himself. 2 deaths, they're called suicides, of people that are trying to stop corruption in this country. Look at this. This is a CBS News link if you want to see it. This is not funny, Kenny. You're suicidal yourself sometimes? Well, that's a nice admission, but not many people actually kill themselves with handguns, especially, in the wrong hand. Missouri Auditor Tom Schweich who had recently launched a Republican campaign for governor, fatally shot himself Thursday in what police describe as an apparent suicide. I don't believe it.
Of course.
Schweich's death stunned many of Missouri's top elected officials who described him as a brilliant, devoted public servant with an unblemished record in office.
Hey, how about that exec that supposedly died on vacation on a treadmill? They said that he fell on a treadmill and he had trauma to his head. That they said that nobody. Well, first of all, nobody holds on to the handlebars while running on a treadmill unless you're just simply just walking and resting. And if you run with your arms down, you're just an idiot. And if you're holding on to something, you're cheating because you can just lift yourself up and just move your legs. So I really doubt that the guy slipped and hit his head against the wall because of the damn, what's it called? I just left the word.
The slippery floor. The slippery floor.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of deaths occur in showers, so be careful in a shower. It's a high-risk area. You can hurt yourself in a shower. But the Missouri governor suicided, apparent suicide. All these other people at J.P. Morgan suicided.
Husband. Thank you. Got a raise. Thank you. Yeah, that's who it was.
It was a guy.
Google CEO's husband.
Oh, because Google CEO's husband, businessman. Yeah, he ended up slipping and dying. But all these suicides occurred among J.P. Morgan staffers who were fully insured, along with their wives, with J.P. Morgan. Does J.P. Morgan need any money? I think maybe they were running short that year. Let me take. Should I take this call and add it to our list? What do you think? Yeah.
Sure.
Well, it's probably a spammer. Go ahead. Okay, we're back with Businessman. Yeah, so I don't trust any of these stories. The truth about the suicidings that have gone on, I've been tracking these suicide-murder combos for years and noticed that more recently this guy David Crowley, who was the person who created a movie called Gray State, and it did a great trailer that Alex Jones and Adam Kokesh worked on. The trailer was nothing like the movie, but there was a falling out, and they said that Adam Kokesh and Alex Jones were not working with him anymore, and then he kills himself and his family. It just doesn't make any sense. So David Crowley.
Here's something. There was we had the Beard Awards last night here in Chicago, and an acclaimed blogger and also a chef and a critic was found randomly dead in his hotel room.
Really?
Yesterday morning.
Wow.
And, here's the most amazing thing to me, David.
Uh-huh.
Autopsy came back inconclusive.
No kidding.
In 1 day. In 1 day.
In 1 day. Yeah. How does an autopsy come back conclusive in 1 day? That's ridiculous. There's something really, really weird going on here. This is not right, folks. There's something strange happening. Not Aleister Crowley, David Crowley. Look him up. He created the movie Gray State, and it just was a blip in the universe, and nobody cares. And now you're telling me journalists are dying? What about Michael Hastings? These are true things, folks. Michael Hastings, brilliant journalist that revealed the story about General McChrystal saying that Barack Obama was disengaged in the war in Afghanistan, which led to McChrystal getting fired because he simply questioned Obama's policies. I'll take that call. Go ahead. I don't know why it's not working. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, so basically Michael Hastings, a brilliant journalist at 33 years old, ends up dying in his Mercedes, his brand new Mercedes, and he said his vehicle was hacked a day before. He said his vehicle was completely hacked, and he didn't understand why he couldn't get a second vehicle, and he was out there on the road at 4:30 in the morning at Florence and Melrose, and his car literally blew up, and the engine flew 300 feet away. And that doesn't happen when you hit a pole. It happens when an RPG hits your car.
And then we also have Paul Walker, who, remember, that little oil stain.
Oh, yeah, the legendary Paul Walker.
Like something blew up before he hit that tree.
I know. It's like his entire drive shaft flipped out on him, and he flipped to the right into the tree. It's like that was purposely planned to do that. Well, this is not something that we should just sit back and ignore. These people are being put in the ground slowly, one by one.
I mean, Michael Hastings was supposed to be like the next, man, he was like supposed to be like a Cronkite, you know, of the modern era.
Oh, definitely. He was a very good journalist.
And he was like, he was a rising guy, man. Like, because he was young, he was appealing. His stories were, they were edgy.
Mm-hmm.
He hit on certain topics.
Yeah.
And a lot of, freedom fighters, they acknowledge the fact that, hey, this guy's trying to do something legitimate under such a big News Corp.
Right.
So that's the problem.
There's his engine for his Mercedes. It was sitting out there on the road near the Melrose and Florence location. Hey there, Shrek. Welcome to the show, man. So the engine doesn't even have any scorch marks on it, so it couldn't have been a fire that caused the engine to go out. The only way that engine would have flown out of there is if it was hit by an RPG. Like boom. Like boom. If it was a fire, you would have seen scorch marks around that engine. So it's like boom. Now, I'm not an expert, a forensic expert on fires or any kind of a major attack. Hi, Kenny. Thank you. But I can tell you that engine looks pretty clean. It looks like it was extracted and carried over there 300 feet. So that was a major. Well, if there was no RPG, then they triggered a response within his engine to blow up within the carburation or the fuel injection system. They could probably do that using the right combination of ingredients. But the bottom line is anybody can be hijacked and taken down. Somebody can hack into your phone and cause you to have a heart attack. If you're carrying a cell phone next to your body, there's a way of actually hacking into the phone and starting triggering arrhythmia. I'm not going to tell you how that's possible. I don't know how it's possible, but it is possible. A guy went public with that at a hacker convention, and ironically, he died that day. He claimed he could do it anywhere, and then that day he died. It was weird. Are we still on with you? Or?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can get that call again. That's not BS. This is real. This is all truth tonight.
Bobby.
Okay.
Caller tier.
Okay, Bobby. The rules here are do not use the N-word and ask your question. What is it?
Okay, yeah, I've been watching the last couple of weeks, Dave, just kind of trying to figure out who to vote for and who to support.
Okay.
But, you got, just from watching, man, you got a lot of conspiracy theories. I mean, everybody committing suicide and they getting killed and murdered. Nothing's an accident, nothing's wrong place, wrong time. It's always some kind of conspiracy.
Not really.
Stuff.
Not really, no. None of these things look like apparent suicides. And if you think that the going trend is for all these people just to die, then you're not looking too deep. Is this Willie? Willie, is this you? Sounds like Willie.
No, Bobby.
Bobby. Okay.
Bobby, I'm just saying.
So you're saying there's no such thing as a conspiracy at all, Bobby? You don't believe in any conspiracies? People aren't actually trying to conspire at all?
Oh, every day.
Well, that's my point, Bobby.
I'm just saying, but it's like, it's just, but where's the facts, though? You gotta have facts to back up it.
We have facts. The facts are we don't know exactly why that engine flew 300 feet away from Michael Hastings' brand new Mercedes. We don't know how an engine do that. Experts can't identify what would have caused that. There have been people that have been asked questions about that.
He's probably going 120, hit a tree.
Nope, probably not. An engine will not leave an engine. An engine will not leave an engine compartment going 120 miles an hour and fly 300 feet. It doesn't happen. Look at the engine in Paul Walker's Ferrari. That stayed right there and literally broke in half. And he'd hit the tree at about 100 miles an hour. They know for a fact. So the Paul Walker case negates the Michael Hastings case. Paul Walker was vivisected. He was cut in half by a tree because his car was going 100 miles an hour and then suddenly had no steering at all and it flipped to the right into a tree. No, things don't happen. Engines don't fly 300 feet away. Sorry.
Well, it's just gravity. There's got to be an answer to it.
Yeah, there is an answer. Somebody hacked his car, man. What about the most important thing about Michael Hastings that I have not mentioned is he was doing a deep investigation into Benghazi and was about to reveal a book or an article that he was going to publish in the Rolling Stone. You don't think there's an interesting convergence of events when a lead journalist dies at 4:30 in the morning for no reason? When he's about to release a story about Benghazi, you don't think there's anything at all suspicious about that, Bobby?
Yeah, but where's all these other reporters trying to report on this? I mean, that's what I'm saying. There should be some more reporters.
They're all dead, Bobby. They're all dead. All the investigative journalists are being killed. In 2008, Bobby, the economy shrunk. 14,000 journalists in the U.S. were fired. Okay? They were fired. They haven't been hired back. You know who does all the technical writing for Google, Bobby? Computers do. Most of the writing that you see on the internet in news stories are done by computers, not writers. So whoever's running this show has decided to put the clamp on the free press and shut down most investigative journalists. Period. You do any deep...
That's Obama.
Well, it could be Obama telling people you're not allowed to look into my background, because that's exactly what he did. The first executive order Barack Obama signed was telling people they will never be able to look at his background. We'll never be able to look at his records in high school or college, nothing. What kind of a president who has nothing to hide would make that the first executive order? And that's the truth, Bobby. I'm not making this up.
Where do I find that at? Seriously,
Well, look into the executive orders that Barack Obama put into order. The first one in January of 2009. Look at that first executive order. It will be the one outlawing any oversight due to executive privilege of the office of the presidency. No one will be able to access the records of Barack Obama for eternity. Now, what kind of an honest person would do that?
Well, I knew he wasn't going to comment from day one. I mean, he never had me fooled.
Well, I'm glad he didn't fool you. I'm glad he didn't fool you, because he didn't fool me either.
Yeah, all he did is was sold a bill of goods. I mean, the guy's bait and switch. I mean, he's a con man.
Totally.
Smoke and mirrors.
He's a flim-flam artist. Yeah, he totally is a flim-flam artist. And I'm very tired of how he's been lying to all the people in the country. And now we've got an even bigger liar named Hillary Clinton, who has a history of lying to the people in this country. And I ask everybody, what has Hillary Clinton done in the past 4 years that she can be proud of? There's not one thing that she can be proud of.
What difference does it make?
Yeah, really, what difference does it make? That's all she ever said was, what difference does it make about Benghazi? But yeah, there's a serious problem, a big void in the whole history of Hillary Clinton and all the things that she has done, which amount to nothing. Really come up front forward when you ask, is she really fit to become president? I think the real history of Hillary Clinton is her history of getting rid of emails, her history of not being available for a discussion on Benghazi. Now, according to one of our links that we saw last night, she's going to be put out to talk about Benghazi again by the Congress. They're going to ask her to talk about Benghazi. I don't think she's going to make the event. She's probably going to have another, maybe a seizure or something, and her head will hurt. Remember, she had a head injury and then she couldn't speak at the last Senate subcommittee on Benghazi? Right.
That was the cover where she had a head injury and she couldn't speak on that. Classic. Yeah. Yeah. So Hillary is definitely... Am I anything like Hillary? The answer is no. I was a Democrat for 30 years. That's about all I have in common with her, but...
I can't even make my face look like this. So I'll just continue to lie, cheat, and steal, and tell everybody whatever they want to hear, and then I'll make sure of it.
I just don't like it, man. Yeah, go ahead.
The sad part is, Dave.
Yeah, go ahead.
She's got. I bet more than 70% chance of being president. The next president.
That's really scary. Yeah, very scary. And we need to realize that the $2.3 billion is buying politics in America. She has a $2.3 billion campaign war chest. I've got, 3,000 some odd dollars? It's crazy. Now, I'm not asking people to donate because I know most of you are broke. I got that. I'm just saying simply, we're going to face a huge challenge to stop the New World Order and the two-party system, which is their mouthpiece, basically. You're not broke? Well, maybe you should make a donation. That'd be nice.
Jesus.
To add this caller to your call, press 5.
Is that Jesus? Jesus, is that you? Jesus.
In his eye.
Jesus has arrived. Hi, what's your question, Jesus? You're formerly Jesus, right? You're not. Go ahead. What's your question? Hold on.
Nigger.
See, that ended the call right away. I knew that was a bad call, and I'm sorry I had to hang up on all the other callers. They seem so legitimate. The story that Hastings was working on at the time of his death centered around CIA Director John Brennan, the architect of Obama's foreign drone program. It related specifically to Brennan's role as administrator point man, tracking investigative journalists and their sources in Washington. I read that too, Upstate. Yeah, John Brennan was the person he was investigating, the CIA director. Thank you for that clarification. We got a lot of people doing due diligence here and finding out what needs to be done. Thank you for calling back, businessman. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Sure.
So Congress is warning military about intentionally practicing war against states. Good. Congressman has been upfront about this. He's the same guy, Louis Gohmert, that businessman talked about. This is from the National Journal. And Jade Helm is some sort of an attempt to, I think it's an attempt to create a fear in America and excite extremism. I think that's what its primary goal.
21 cities have made it illegal to feed homeless people.
I heard about that. 20 some odd cities, 24 cities have made it illegal to feed homeless people. Can you believe that? I actually used to offer food up at the local park in Santa Monica when I was working there. I would get a big, huge mega package of turkey legs, like 20 pounds of turkey legs. And I'd get real tinfoil and potatoes and corn cobs, back when you can get 10 corn cobs for $1. And I'd put the corn cob, the potato, and the turkey leg with some onions in the tinfoil, and I threw it right in there, and it would immediately cook up in about an hour. It was like mouth-watering, intensely good. It was like a mouthgasm or a foodgasm for a lot of the people that I was serving it. People came from all over and said, "Thank you, man. I haven't had a dinner this good in a long time." And I was just out there on a burner. I would be arrested today doing that. I was out there feeding people on a regular coal burner out in the park. It was great. This is the best dinner I've ever had. Seriously, you'd be surprised how cheap that is too. Even today, a turkey leg, a potato, and a corn cob is still your lower cost meal. Any of you have a corn cob you want to experiment with? Feel free. You know, back in the days when my father was a young man, they used to use corn cobs as toilet paper in the Midwest. I know food is expensive. It's terrible right now. I'm urging everybody to look for careful deals and buy selectively and get the right kind of foods. You still do use a corn cob for toilet paper? Really? They still do in the South? And then they used pages out of the Sears Roebuck catalog. It's Corn Cob Cornelius. Yeah, I remember that guy.
Wait, what? People used corn cobs to wipe their ass?
Now that you put it literally, yeah, they did. They used corn cobs to wipe their butt. And then you throw the corn cob, in the compost heap. Whatever. Should I take this Willie call again from Bobby?
Yeah,
or
go ahead.
All right. Here. He's just going to keep calling.
Call from?
Hey, Dave, it's Glenn.
Okay. Caller's voicemail.
Glenn, I don't understand why that happened. Yeah, now we're back with businessman. So yeah, we've come a long way. My father literally didn't have any electricity in his house when he was a boy. He had no running water in North Dakota. He had to go to the high school to get hot water and take a shower. Normally they'd take a group bath in the big tin can in the living room or whatever. I don't know how it worked. I wasn't there. But here we are now in the modern age with showers and refrigerators, air conditioners. I mean, we got it made compared to back in the 20s. So all of us have kind of improved our quality of life. That's the truth. Big tin can. Now we have big screen TVs and... Okay, hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. These calls are endless. Until we get the radio show going, these are going to be a nonstop problem, but we're still working on the radio show. I'm going to probably get talk shoe or something. All right, so Louis Gohmert gets why some Texans are worried about a military takeover. Texas congressman is joining others in his state calling for the Pentagon to alter the Jade Helm military exercises. That's great.
Call from.
Hey, Dave, it's Glenn.
To add this.
We got Glenn in the call. Hey, Glenn. Hi, Glenn. What's up?
Hey, Dave, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Did you watch the Berkshire Hathaway annual meeting? Any of the notes just over the weekend, or no?
No. Well, they're losing money, aren't they? What's going on?
I'm not really sure about the financials, but what's your thoughts on the minimum wage?
I think the minimum wage should be up to $10 an hour. I think that's a guarantee for at least bare sustenance. It should be higher, but business can't afford more than $10 an hour across the nation. So even that seems a little weird. Considering the Republicans refuse to allow the minimum wage to go up, but some Republicans, like the Tea Party guys, like Rand Paul, want to get rid of the minimum wage. I don't think that's right. Do you like the minimum wage?
Munger and Warren Buffett, they did a lot of talking over the weekend about the minimum wage, and they said but a couple months ago they said that they wouldn't raise it, and now they're saying that it would. They said they would raise it. Now they're saying it would hurt Americans if they raised it. So, but these guys always have a lot of influence. You never know what to believe.
Yeah.
But I just want to get your stance. I mean, these guys they'll never run for president. But,
right.
It's kind of funny, that because you see, I mean, Berkshire, they always complain about, people not paying enough taxes. But yet, every other report you hear, they're always trying to find a loophole to get out of paying.
This is your Washington Times daily briefing for May 5th, 2015. Emergency room visits have actually increased under Obamacare, cutting a key selling point of the massive legislation. Apparently, people aren't seeking the preventative medicine the president said would help decrease emergency room visits and thus the cost on the healthcare system.
They went back and got that money back. If they were so concerned about how much you paid, you think they would do that?
Yeah. This is the deal. It's crazy, but what we're looking at is a group of businessmen, and we got businessmen on the phone, who really cannot afford more money to pay employees because they're barely able to make it right now. Seattle has just raised minimum wage to $15, and restaurants are closing left and right. So $15 is unsustainable for businesses, and we can't possibly set up a minimum wage that'll be unsustainable for business. Okay.
A lot of states, they pay servers, $5-6 an hour minimum wage, and they make tons of money in tips.
Mm-hmm.
But over there in Texas, they still make $2.12 per hour for servers and
really?
Tips.
I thought the national minimum wage law superseded that. I didn't know Texas could pay $2.
No, it's like $4.50. It has to be.
Yeah, well, it's got to be something like $7.40 to meet the national minimum wage law. They're in violation of labor and industry. I don't know, man. I've never heard of that.
David, to the contrary, though, I do have a Republican over here, Mac Thornberry.
Okay.
Who dismissed concerns about a military takeover of Texas as silly.
Okay, Matt. Well, it may be silly, but it's stepping in Texas's most important area, which is their defense of their state. Even the Texas Rangers have offered a solution to just stand by and watch, make sure everybody's okay. The Texas Rangers are stepping up and saying they're willing to do that. So I don't think it's silly at all. I think people are concerned that the government's trying to take over the country, and there's no justification for this procedure, this exercise. It doesn't seem like it's necessary. So obviously, we got to do something that'll change that. My infrastructure bank idea will bypass the minimum wage law agreements. They won't come to an agreement, so I'm offering an infrastructure bank with 2% loans to U.S. businesses hiring U.S. citizens at a living wage of $15. So anybody who gets a 2% loan will have to pay $15 minimum. It's happening now. That's right. Thank you. Thanks, Scary Crow. Unscary Crow.
And what's the percentage on that, Dave?
2% is a return of investment. It's a small percentage to pay to get a loan for $100,000 for a business.
Okay.
Yes.
And how much are the niggers getting?
Yeah. Well, I'm taking any credible calls I can get. If he thinks it's kind of funny to come in and, pretend to be somebody else, and that's funny for him. We knew it was going to happen, yeah. But the infrastructure bank idea is our idea at America's Third Party. It's not something that John Kerry would share. John Kerry has a infrastructure bank where all the big companies, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, they all make money on the loan. So the 2% loans out the door, it's more like 27%. We'll give you an infrastructure bank loan for 27% and gives every other bank 6% of that cut. That's what they do. You know that Morgan Stanley is handling the food stamps, right? All the food stamp money that goes out, about $80 billion a year now, Morgan Stanley gets a cut of that, probably about $4 billion. JP Morgan gets a cut of the Social Security incomes that's going out. They probably get about, I'm going to guess, considering Social Security income is so high, they're probably in the billions and billions of dollars, but JP Morgan's making money on that. And then on top of it, the Federal Reserve is killing this country. I agree on Scary Crow. Well, was your bottom shaved and did it have shaving cream on it? That's a sure sign you were abducted by aliens. That guy is hilarious. I agree. Wow. And you think that's funny? Okay. We're going to ban you before you can actually deliver a death threat, because the NSA is watching everything that's going on the internet. I hope you all understand that. And all of these, even the chat that I ban, is being recorded by the NSA. So I didn't want to reveal that to you, except it is the truth. It is Truth Tuesday. And one of the reasons why Edward Snowden was tasked to send out disinformation by our government was they needed to know if the American people are okay with everybody emails being watched and cell phone calls being listened to. Well, the NSA has everything to do with you. They're watching everything on the internet. Well, I bet it is a pretty good show, yeah. But I can guarantee that the Edward Snowden shill, the guy who was put out there as Edward Snowden and pretended to, have top secrets and reveal them to Russia, they just wanted to see how far they could go with the truth and how much you'll accept. And with a little lubrication, you're bending over. Go ahead.
One.
Yeah, you're grabbing your ankles and spreading your cheeks right now. Go ahead. What's your question?
Yes.
Yeah, who's this?
This is your nigger.
Why do you keep calling, man? What's your problem? Why don't you ask a real question? Is it some? Does it get you get off using the N-word? Is that something you like? All right, he's probably the guy we're tracking. Congress is about to introduce a bill to fast-track a secret deal that could lead to global censorship. It's called the Trans-Pacific Partnership. We think internet users everywhere should have the say in decisions that affect the internet. But if fast-track legislation passes, there's no chance the public will see the text before the deal is approved. Join the internet vote on April 23rd, and let's make it reverse. We can't talk about his room. He has nothing to talk about. The only thing to talk about is his blow-up doll, Cooney, and his mom, who keeps giving him a soda. There's not much to talk about. Okay, I guess we got the same death threat from that guy, too. Well, frankly, I think there should be a backbone of the internet that should be free, like a 56.6 guaranteed access point. It's so easy to do, too. Okay, we got a call here. It's May 5th. Yeah, that's right. Cinco de Mayo. Hola.
What's going on, David?
Hello. Hey, I'm going to speak in the native language of Arizona for the remainder of the phone call. Do you ever run into a problem where you have a communication barrier? Do you speak a little Spanish down there, or how do you do this?
We have to learn to speak Spanish now that we're having infiltrations from all the illegals coming over the border.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things, you just got to be able to say, where is the aisle for the tomatillos or the chilies or the beans or, it's discount. How's it going, buddy? Yeah, you sound a lot like
Shrek.
I know you sound like
Shrek.
It's Shrek, but you sound a lot like, gosh, your voice almost identical to Rodney's discount voice. That's pretty cool. Anyway,
Hey, what's going on, discount?
yeah, what's going on? Exactly, you sound exactly like it.
No.
Yeah. So you've been,
What's going on, David? You've been getting a lot of phone calls from a lot of guys in Chicago. You're very popular in Chicago.
I hear you. I'm very popular in Chicago. It's because we got a guy tweeting out of Chicago. He's been helping us a little bit. One of the things that people are trying to do is threaten me right now. And, none of your threats are going to ever mean anything to me because I'm not afraid of death. I learned to conquer my fear of anything. I've gone beyond your concerns. I'm actually more concerned about...
David walks through the blazes of hell, people.
I do.
And he's willing to walk through the blazes of hell for us. Come on now.
That's right, man. And I'll tell you, right now we got more to concern ourselves with the fish in the ocean dying and a slow death of our own than anyone should worry about, somebody getting shot. Frankly, we're all suffering as a result of this. Fukushima situation, which Obama refuses to talk about, Hillary Clinton refuses to talk about. None of the Republicans want to talk about it because they can't even come up with a solution to fix it. And we've got a fix that will solve the Fukushima crisis. We've actually got some solutions that will beat it. And I've talked about those solutions on our show.
People need to start stocking up on all their tuna and everything right now.
Yeah, buy tuna in bulk.
There's not going to be any more sea life.
Exactly. We're going to be losing sea life, and all of you need to know that. If you want to stock up your cupboards on tuna, do it now, man, because it's getting really bad in the ocean outside of the intertidal zones. We're seeing death across the Pacific Ocean. The rim is completely cluttered with dead starfishes and dead... there's all kinds of otters dead and sea lions dead. 14,000 dead. It's getting depressing just talking about it, and that's why I brought it up. Yes, I declared my presidency.
SpongeBob doesn't live at the bottom of the sea anymore, people. Come on now. It's too bad for him down there.
Right. I also declared in 2008 to run for president. I've been running for president. This is the third time around, but I'll be running the rest of my life, and people don't really understand that. They don't realize I've dedicated my entire life to this. And if somebody wants to blow me away, hey, at least I tried fighting for the American people, because your life after I'm gone is going to be a hell of a lot worse than me getting a bullet in my head. I want you to know that you're facing a way worse life of suffering and torture at the hands of a nation that's allowed its country to be dominated by monetary elitists who literally want to dispose of you. I'm not suffering from any mental illness whatsoever. It's funny you should say that.
Yeah, it's pretty sad when there's a lot of other third-party candidates out there that get noticed, and even you can't get noticed by them. I mean, you get shut down by media.
Yeah, they don't want to allow me to get any kind of coverage whatsoever, and we've got some important key hit points like ending war. The two parties want to include war in their plan. They want a war in Syria. They want a war in Iran. They want a war everywhere. They literally want war, the two parties do. And we have, of course, the pro-legalization campaign, which makes us different than the other two parties. We want hempoline to be brought in and lower the cost of diesel for our truck drivers.
Awesome.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, that was definitely not the same guy. I just basically didn't take his call. I know his voice, and I can tell you, I was trying to pull him out like with a real question, but he doesn't have a question. He's just a racist, the guy is. That's all he is.
Who's that guy?
We don't know. We think it's James Anderson. We're not sure. Unlike the two parties, we want to end the Federal Reserve. We want to retire their charter and bring our troops home. And ironically, ending the Federal Reserve is part of our plan to bring our troops home, because all wars are bankers' wars. And the reason why we're overseas is because the Federal Reserve is inextricably tied to the World Bank and the IMF. Hang on just a second, Shrek. Go ahead.
Bringing them home for
the holidays.
Jade Helm, that false flag that's going on.
Well, we're not going to bring them. I'm a protectionist, by the way, not an isolationist. But we're not going to bring them home for Jade Helm. We're going to bring them home for border control. We want them to come home to defend our border. which is a critical solution to the problems that we're facing right now with the Border Patrol being bought off.
I'm talking about that's what our corrupt government is doing right now. Is they're bringing the troops home, but they're bringing them home for jail.
Yeah,
That shouldn't even be happening.
exactly. So this concept of
James Anderson, I have a question.
yeah, right. This concept of brand new renewable energy solutions is specific to our party, and you can't find this stuff on the Democratic's platform or the Republican platform. You won't see ending war at the Democratic site. You won't see a pro-legalization plan at the Democratic or the Republican site. And you won't see a plan to end the Federal Reserve at either site. So you've already seen, right here alone, you see all the reasons to vote third party. But then add to that all the work I'm going to do to stop GMOs and Monsanto. Not to mention end the fluoridation of our water system, which is lowering the IQ of our population.
And the seawater pipeline. Come on, David.
The seawater pipeline, let's not forget that.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, David. I'm going to let you take phone calls from other people now. It sounds like
All right.
got some legitimate people coming in.
All right, thank you very much. Take care, man. That's Shrek. That was a good call from Shrek.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember Dr. Strangelove lost the cosmos when he said, Mandrake, have you ever been a POW, Mandrake? No, sir, I haven't. You wouldn't know about this precious bodily fluids, Mandrake, and how important it is to protect your precious bodily fluids. They're all being contaminated with fluoride, Mandrake. Remember that? Oh, Legal Whip Deck. How's it going, man? Legal Whip Deck, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up? How's everything?
Well, it could be better, but I'm not complaining. I live a pretty good life on under $5 a day, so.
That's good. That's good. I'm trying to do the same, actually, because
Cool.
the food is so expensive nowadays.
It is, even if you have, like some sort of a food stamp supply. I don't have food stamps, but even then, I see a lot of people shopping with food stamps in our country. That's pretty interesting. But make the most of your money, folks. Go ahead.
I grew up in the early 90s where it was actually, you will feel a little bit of shame to pay things with food stamps.
Oh, it was
Not happening anymore.
no. There's no shame in people buying things with food stamps anymore. Yep,
Yeah.
it's kind of an ongoing problem.
Also, businessman, he mentioned, since he knows about business, did you know that if you open an LLC or if you buy an LLC, the government gives you 3 years to file taxes and to consider yourself as a no gainer, like you made no gains. But after the 3 years, then they charge you a whole lump sum of money. But the government, when they do a project, like they're doing the stupid train thing in California right now,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not doing any money, it's not doing any good, they fund it until they go broke.
Yeah, the government continues to fund things. The government cannot downsize. That's the truth. Actually, that's another truth we could bring up. The government has no mechanism to downsize and to check themselves. There's no checks and balances left in our country. They continue to offer contracts to big corporations. And like I was saying, even Morgan Stanley making all that money on the food stamps, they're not going to stop the food stamp program. Checky.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've been living on a you've been doing okay in America since your family moved here? Is everyone fairly satisfied, or are they concerned about their livelihood?
No, I guess we're used to it already. We basically Americanized ourselves. We don't have nowhere to go, as they say. We burned the boats.
Okay. Well, you're here now. You're Americans. Welcome. Great.
So there's no other place to go. I mean, we're pretty much American. I cannot go back to Central America.
No, you can't.
There's nothing over there.
No, you're right. There's nothing back there that would be beneficial. The food bank shelves are getting empty now, according to Guest 219. Wow. I don't know why they're talking about the royal baby, to keep our mind off the royal poverty that's happening amidst the royal family. I mean, there's people out there suffering in England, and they continue to talk about the royals as though it's some illustrious diversion tactic. Okay, good.
Because there's the kings and queens there. They're the ones that, everything. I believe that everything that's happening to us right now has something to do linking to England and the way their lifestyle is. Because remember, the kings will have all the food, all the money, all the luxuries, while the people were out there starving.
Right. There's a lot of people that are talking about the fact that our country has now turned a blind eye to all of our opportunity and how the government doesn't really care about the common man getting education. We are looking at favoritism at all levels. My biggest problem is I don't think affirmative action is being fair to anyone who's not a minority, but I understand the perspective of minorities. They want to make sure they have an education. Like the DREAM Act in California can give illegal aliens a full education. But without taking care of American citizens, even white American citizens, we're just dropping the ball left and right. And I want to make sure we can resolve this. I want to double size the Pell Grants to make sure that people have.
To add this caller to your current.
Okay, we got Bingo on the phone. Go ahead. What's your question, Bingo? Okay.
Make a fence for the borders. This country has to think that way right now.
Yeah.
It's the perfect time because we're losing the resources. I mean, illegals are actually going back to the majority of them, of course, because they're Mexican. They're going back to Mexico, and that's the truth.
They are. Yeah, you're right. Now, here's a person whose family came from Central America originally, and he's concerned about building a fence along the border. I agree. Bingo.
Yeah, they're going back to Mexico. I see them all the time. They're like, man, I'd rather be in Mexico and do a hard job and deal with all this stuff. They go back because they see it. They see how this country's changing.
Right. Hillary is the head of the snake right now. And we're going to have to go after the head of the snake, which is Hillary, and all the lies she has. The Common Core education system is a complete disaster for a lot of Americans. And the worst part about the Common Core education system is that it goes after the teachers and punishes them for the problems with the students.
They're going after the people that are actually helping the future of our country, which is the teachers, the farmers, because a farmer can teach you how to be self-sufficient.
Yeah, I agree.
A teacher can teach you how to, get educated and learn your basics, math, reading, everything that you need to do when you're educated. And they're going after them. They're attacking them. And did you hear what Bill Gates said on the interview?
No, what?
Bill Gates got interviewed about we should focus on this country. He said, we need to focus on teachers. We need to start focusing on high schools. And who controls the high schools?
Oh, yeah. Right.
Whoever controls high schools is whoever is responsible for what's happening with the educational system right now.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's the thing. All the educators are trying to screw with the high schools, and what they're doing is actually making it more expensive, and the administration costs is really what's sucking all those tax dollars into a void. We're not getting any answers from...
And now the government wants to put their hands on college, and you know what happens when the government puts their hands on anything?
I know.
It messes it up completely.
Oh, I know. The government...
is no longer interested in you and me. They're interested on their own pockets.
I know. Okay, well, I believe we have the coming police state that we have to talk about, because the police state is here and it's coming, and the truth is our country is going to have to deal with this coming police state by dealing with it politically. So I'm going to do everything I can to expose what's happening right now and set up a little dialogue about the coming police state. I would take the call, but right now, hang on a second.
It's happening. I'm telling you.
I know it's happening.
Central America went into a police state, and it's happening already.
I know.
You see it.
You see it.
The first sign you see is curfews.
Yeah.
Curfews. Oh, they do that. And they'll shoot. If you don't... This is exactly what's happening in Central America. No questions asked. You just get shot.
With curfew. Once you see curfew and get people getting shot by the authorities, that's when you know you're turning into a police state, and that's happening already.
I agree. Hang on.
Call from.
Yeah, we're just getting hosed by this phone call. I'm going to drop out of the call right now, but I appreciate the call. The illegal wetback has come in, and thank you so much for your concern, because I've been appealing to people who are second, third generation Hispanic people who believe that we need to deal with the border and lock down the border. That's something that's really important, and I think that's a huge break. We're not being like Hillary Clinton and bending over, constantly saying, yeah, come on, illegals, come on into our country. Many people who are here, who have a job, who are full-time, are definitely... I want to talk about education too. We got a call from this joke of a person, Rodney.
Hey Dave, how's it going, buddy?
Did you take your medication today, Rodney?
I took a little too much, Dave. Man, I'm really glad you hung up on that last caller. He was boring.
Well, yeah, but nothing boring about all the MRAPs that are coming into our country right now. The government's giving all these local police departments 432 MRAPs and helicopters, and they're getting ready for a police state here. What do you think about this, Rodney? Is it scary? Are you scared?
A lot of you should be scared, Dave.
Yeah.
Dave, do you know which FEMA camp you're going to be reporting to?
Frankly, you can't find me because I'm not in any one location. Thanks.
We already know where you are, Dave.
No, you don't. That's not the same Dave. It's a different guy. I'm a different person than the same Dave I'm talking to. Miguel. Okay. We're going to bring in the Miguel. Miguel and Rodney are in a talk right now.
Send a voicemail. I'm sorry. I didn't catch that. I'm sorry. I didn't catch that. I'm sorry. I didn't catch that.
God, what a wasted system.
Press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
All right.
Oops, your caller just hung up. Press 2 to call.
It's like a joke. I got to get a radio system in here. It's terrible. Get a bug out bag. Start locking up on tuna fish, peanut butter,
I didn't catch that.
and Vienna sausages, everybody. Well, let's be clear. Third World Communications, yeah. Miguel. Okay, we will now take a call from Miguel. Go ahead, Miguel. What is your concern right now, Miguel?
Hello, nigga.
God. It's endless. We do not endorse these N-words, folks. This is getting more disturbing every second of the day. This is the Rodster. We'll put him on. Hey, Rodney. Hey, buddy. Yeah.
Hey, how are you, man?
Hey, brother. Hey, brother. How's it hanging?
I really don't appreciate all these people, turning your show into a big game of grab ass over the phone.
I hear you, buddy.
Turn the phones off for the next half hour and get down to business.
Yeah, let's get down to business. Go ahead. Let's talk about the coming police state, okay? Come on.
Right. So, Dave, what's your plan? I mean, you're just going to burrow in and hide? Or, are you going to fight back? What do you got going on there?
Well, it depends on where I am. I'm right on the border, you know that. So I can slip over the Canadian border anytime I want, so.
You and Sarah throw out a little north face?
Well, we got this thing right near us. It's called a Puget Sound. When you put a boat in it, it's real easy to get to Canada, if you know what I mean.
So what do you have, like a dinghy, or?
I don't have a dinghy. I have what is needed to get to Canada within a few seconds, man. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine.
Wow.
But what about this huge buildup of troops and now this Jade Helm? Is this kind of freaking you out?
I'm beyond freaked out about it, Dave. I've been aware of this for a long time, and just keep remembering something, all you lazy American scumbags who let your democracy fall into shambles.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in that FEMA camp, remember it's all your fault for not giving a fuck, for being fat and happy and a terrible patriot.
We have a person, TJ1990, who should be arrested. He says, I'm for the police state. I don't break the law, so I'd feel safer with cameras in the corners and drones overhead. Plus, I love technology and want to develop drones myself. You should be arrested, TJ90.
Right there, Dave.
Yeah, you need to be sent to the FEMA
Again,
camps.
I think after
Wait a sec. We got a person here.
Something to tell.
Yeah, we got a lady here who's going to complain about the Army drill in Texas that's scaring residents here. It's not Oprah. She does look an awful lot like Oprah, I got to tell you. I mean, many of you who have seen Oprah's personal photographs, you know what she looks like, and it's not pretty. But Oprah's not the issue here. Okay, let's talk about the FEMA camps, shall we?
Yeah, Camp Sponheim.
Well, it's worse than that. It's a situation where if we allow the police state to form, all the people will be coming back in body bags. This will be a picture of America. This will be the American dream, coming back in a body bag. You'll be sent to your little FEMA zip-up body bag, and you won't even get a trial or any kind of a due process. You'll just be sent to the FEMA camps and be zipped up in your body bag. She's more like Whoopi Goldberg. Let's listen in. I want to hear what she has to say, if you don't mind. Do you mind waiting, Rodney?
So she passed along her concern. Her Southeast Houston neighborhood, Francis Gerald's didn't know what to think.
You know, when you see this, you think the worst. Right. When you hear this, you think the worst.
You think the worst.
She passed along her concern.
She told me, don't come home because it sounds like we're in a war zone.
Okay, so they're in a war zone, man. It's sad. Very, very, very sad. So my goal is to get a radio show going so we can get rid of this stupid call waiting thing that Google has. It doesn't work. So we'll work on getting a radio show.
Get rid of that, Dave. I'm going to let you go. You should shut the phones down and get your show under control.
I will. Thank you. And maybe you could donate to us so I could get a Blog Talk Radio channel going for $40 a month. That'd be great. Thanks, Rodney. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay. Rodney's never donated it on the record. He's never made a single donation to our party. Yeah. Miserable. Absolutely miserable. I can't handle it. I want to talk about the issues, and we're coming into the final hour of our show. I use my Social Security number on occasion to validate credit card data and things like that. Yeah. So we're here. We're blessed with Sarah's presence. No, she's here. I do look like David Soul, and Sarah's here. Sarah, you're in favor of all these vehicles being sent into our communities from the government, right?
I think that I would rather the vehicles be sent into our community than sit around and collect rust.
Right.
So much effort went into building these vehicles that they shouldn't just go to waste.
Well, they were originally for the National Guard, but you want them in the local police department so that every borough in New York and every small city in LA would have an MRAP, a SWAT vehicle, and a series of solutions to deal with their problem. You think it's a healthy use of those machines?
Well, I would say this. I wouldn't want any more machines being built than necessary. But it's much better as far as if you're looking at it purely from a machine, it is a machine standpoint, that it's much better for a machine to run than to sit around. And so I would rather these machines be running rather than just sitting and rusting or collecting dust.
I see your point. Yeah. Okay. Well, what if they were being used for benevolent purposes, like,
Yes, and they easily could be. I don't think that is flattering you at all because as you change it, it makes you look old. So.
Okay, thank you. Well, he was younger. He was younger than me when he had that picture
taken.
taken.
But it's just certain cheeks, the way the cheeks overlap your cheeks.
Okay,
makes it look
I'm obviously better looking than David Soul. I know. I'd sing the Hutch song for you, but I don't want to step on his copyright. He owns the original to it.
I tried to listen to John Locke on LibriVox because I've been listening to things on LibriVox. And the thing about, I like John Locke. I think I want to get a book and then read it for LibriVox because the recordings that they have on there are from people who are like...
really old.
No. I'm going to say they just have a dialect that's difficult to understand. The dialect happens to be... Indian.
Oh, yes. I have heard many of them talk it because they go to Google Watch, and the Google Chrome program has a transcription program for you to listen to some of the great American authors like John, I guess many of them. Thank you.
TJ 1990, I'm sure some teachers would be opposed to that, but I would not be opposed to that at all. I'm in favor of you evaluating me by having a camera on me 24/7.
I'm ready for a big coffee and a Kako. And
I know, poor David.
I was telling everybody
He's
about,
so much.
this feds may soon target the Drudge Report, folks. And here we thought even the controlled opposition that the Drudge Report offers was something that, many of us were using. But now,
Mad Dog, yes.
FCC censorship of political websites could soon be on the horizon.
Interesting.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? I'm so glad we don't, have a Drudge Report style website. It's strictly our policies, and there is no evidence of constant attention seeking and bringing people in, talking about news stories. But we have a show that deals with this stuff.
What are you talking about, Lost in the Cosmos? What professional recording are you speaking of?
TJ 1990, you have been recorded on our show, and we will be pursuing this in a later date. You have obviously violated the code of ethics here, and you will be targeted for that purpose.
Sure, Lost in the Cosmos, that would be great.
TJ 1990 doesn't even understand the dangers of a police state.
Could you send me the link or whatever? Then I could download it on my other device that I don't have in front of me.
Yeah, without the actual transcription done by someone from New Delhi.
So, Mama Lois, here's the thing. I am not in favor of tying student test scores to teacher evaluations. I'm not in favor of over-testing students so that they're always constantly being bombarded with tests and the actual time in the classroom is spent preparing for the test rather than on great instruction. However, as far as the Common Core standards themselves, I see the Common Core standards as something to look forward to. Okay,
she has a positive take on the Common Core.
Yes, that would be perfect, Lost in the Cosmos. And then once you get it online, you can send me a link. My email address is americasthirdparty@gmail.com.
Okay, Real Pro really wants to vote for us over at that other network
Thanks,
we can't
Real
talk
PR.
about. Real PR, thank you, man. And Sarah's here to make you happy, that's for sure. Fantastic. We're sorry we ignored you in the other chat room, which I can't mention for a while, because this show's been rather hectic up to this point.
I would love to do some videos with Common Core math, at least my interpretation of Common Core mathematics. And I don't think it's a joke at all. I think it's a way I think that it's a way for students to understand mathematics a little bit deeper, and for some a little bit easier. At least the way I teach mathematics, so that kids understand it a little bit easier. Our schools need much more practical things. You've been in schools that don't even have water fountains or climate control. It's burning in the summer, freezing in the winter. The lunches are worse than prison food. Why don't we make the schools a place kids feel comfortable? Very good, TJ 1990. So instead of spending all this money on electronic devices, cameras to monitor students, let's make them comfortable places, safe places that kids can be.
Bill Gates supports a one world government.
Yes, I do understand that 13649. I'm not sure what he's wanted for, but.
Well, this is what I'd like to see. Okay, Washington State gets $10,900 per student to teach in the public school system. That means that every classroom in the state of Washington gets about $300,000 per class per year to teach. A teacher typically makes $50,000 to $60,000 with all our benefits, etc. Where's that other $240,000 going?
Good question.
And yes, bus drivers are important, but I mean, seriously, what if we had more kids homeschooled where they wouldn't be sitting on a bus driving down the road breathing diesel fumes as they go to school, losing their brain cells? And mothers could make money through a voucher system teaching their kids. Now, if the kids passed a test once every year or once every 6 months that would clear them, they'd have a couple chances to pass the test, and the mother would get a portion of money that the school would normally get. Now, say instead of $10,900 per mother, say they got $4,000. Even that would be very helpful in a lot of households in America right now.
Well, I'm sometimes confused on Title I funding. Because we have... Is Title I funding the ones where the government owns a bunch of property around the school district, and then pays for the schools? Is that Title I, or am I thinking of a different title? No. Okay.
Yeah, you could pay with a coupon.
So then
actually.
Title I funding is funding that is given to schools I know what Title I funding is. Title I funding is where 50% or more of students receive free or reduced lunches, meaning that their family lives so much in poverty that their children qualify for free or reduced lunches. Is that correct, TJ19? Well, no, but yes. It's a certain percentage of families that live in poverty around them, then they can receive Title I funding. Or why didn't you explain it to me? Because you're probably better.
Well, school lunches and school equipment are part of it.
All students qualify? How do all students qualify for Title I? All students get free lunch, not in my district.
I don't have a mentor, no. I don't need a mentor. I'm not elite. You know, I had a really interesting person come into the show tonight on chat and said, David's so well-spoken and he seems so electable. He must be working for the Illuminati. They actually believe that because I'm such a potential winner in the upcoming election, I somehow sold my soul to Satan. I assure you, I am not a member of a secret society and never will be. And I will always dedicate my efforts to the American people, not to some private corporation or funded super PAC or some foreign country trying to finance a takeover of our nation like they're doing right now. Our government has been bought. The only way we're ever going to get accountability from this corrupt government is a top-down restoration by an honest president. I will take the chances necessary to do this. There's a big chance that I will get killed in the process. I realize that. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't realize that. I don't believe Bernie Sanders has the ability to lead this nation out of the situation it's in right now. He's a good guy.
Thank you.
He's got a lot of good ideas. But again, I would like to make him a part of my administration. I don't think he has the vitality and the stamina necessary to lead this nation. I do. Unfortunately for us, we've got very little time left to realize that a third party is necessary. They can't cut the budget because all their fingers are in the corporate till. This is a fact. They won't stop the coming police state because they themselves feel protected by it. The ARRA, the American Recovery Reinvestment Act, was a $787 billion bonanza for Barack Obama, wasting your tax dollars on bulletproof glass for government buildings. They're more likely going to use that money in the budget to prepare for apocalypse and attack on the government, as opposed to help you, the American citizens. And I need to remind everybody that this is the truth. Not one U.S. citizen has gotten $1 out of TARP 1, TARP 2, QE2, or QE3. Unless, of course, you're a person who owns billions of dollars in mortgage-backed securities and are basically in the top 1%. We're not really talking about the price of marijuana here on our show, Pinworms, but it can vary anywhere from $10 to $27, $30 a gram in our state.
Awesome, Tandaleo.
So I support vouchers. I do. And like the Republicans, I do support a voucher program, but not the kind that Jeb Bush is initiating in his former state of Florida, where they're only giving vouchers to people with disabled kids. That's ridiculous.
Especially considering you guys could have bought Chromebooks for your teachers rather than MacBook Airs. Ridiculous that they don't actually have... So can the teachers sign up then to use the computer labs, TJ 1990? Because in our district, that's how it works. Is like, actually, what I would do, and you should tell your principal this, or if you're an administrator, this is what you should do. I don't know what your position is, TJ 1990 in Philadelphia, but you should set up a schedule and be like, I personally when there's a computer lab that's not being used, ooh, it just gets under my skin totally. So I would say set up a schedule and be like, you're going to be in the computer lab for 30 minutes on Monday. Now you're going to be in the computer lab for 30 minutes on Monday. So you just set up, since you're an administrator, here's what I would do. And I would not even worry about what that 30 minutes is being used for. I would say here's what your 30 minutes should be used for. Is it should be used for going to typingweb.com, which is a free program, and maybe I should come out there and be your computer teacher. No, go to typingweb.com, which is a free program, and tell your minimum third through fifth grade classes, you are expected, especially if you're an admin, you can do this. You are expected to be in the classroom in that computer lab with your students for 30 minutes. And just like you, I don't know if you schedule PE we fortunately have PE teachers and art teachers and music teachers. But anyway, laptop carts actually I find to be better than a computer lab, TJ 1990, because then the teachers can pull them out when they want to. It's more natural for the teacher to use the laptop in the classroom. Well, isn't your testing done online? I mean, we use Smarter Balanced out here, but isn't your park system used out there? And so who made the decision to invest in the MacBook Airs? I mean, you could buy 6 Chromebooks for the price of a MacBook Air. Wow. So your laptops become like mini computer labs. They have to be, if they have to be always constantly plugged in, because then oh man. TJ 1990, so you say you're an administrator, principal or higher, and you don't know who made that decision? Go ahead. Oh, you're a tech administrator and you didn't get you weren't able to weigh in? The teachers don't consult you on the tech purchases? Oh, my friends. Oh, my friends. Someone higher than your boss? You know what you probably need to do? You or your boss, you guys need to have a sit down with the superintendents, especially because you understand, if you're a tech admin, you understand the costs and what could happen. Your boss is the director. So it was probably, hi Shrek, it was probably a choice of it was probably the superintendent who made that decision. Here's a few issues. It's not even the cost. Well, you're probably getting all the blowback from the teachers who have no idea how to use their MacBook Airs. Am I correct? Especially if you're a tech admin. Are you on like the help desk kind of thing? I know, I agree. Actually, my school district does use Apple products, and I'm not saying that Apple is bad. I think Apple makes good products. I think Google makes good products. I think that certain ones are utilized for certain purposes, and I do think all of our students should be able to use all of it. Yes, I know the interactive whiteboards. Yes, the USB is 3.0. The Air's power level for USB doesn't support the Airs. So they can't plug. So they have also dumped interactive whiteboards into your school district, which are $1,800 a piece. You write software, you do data, you crunch grades. That's how your kids get report cards. I'm the reason. Oh, we use a system out here that's we don't have one in our district. We I guess we contract out with a program that does, they have a grading, and they also have the system where the parents, that's why I said I know for a fact that they don't do free and reduced lunches, free lunches for everyone here, because they have a system where parents can put more money on their students' account. I know you could buy what you can afford when you're talking about traditionally MacBook Airs and iPads are traditionally much more expensive, or at least recently much more expensive than the Chromebooks. Oh, your Apple went within a year? Wow. Airs are not good. Obama says inequality facing minority men are behind the unrest in Baltimore. Ferguson. Finally, it's about time he says something. Thank you, Scissor Fight.
Good. What did he say?
That's pretty cool. Obama says, no, I'm reading to, Outlaw says he writes software for, I'm just getting into a software discussion. Okay. For a school back in the 80s that's still in use today. That's pretty cool. You know what I wanted to find? I wanted to find the, it would be cool to have an online version of that whole, what is it? The Lewis and Clark Oregon Trail game. Okay, there's this thing called the K5 Initiative. It's run through a tracking system called AimsWeb, and the vendor told them they needed a good computer to view the website. K5 Initiative, AimsWeb. I'll have to check that out. A good computer? Give me a break. Maybe you need a good browser. You don't always need... it's accessible via browser. Yes, I agree. It's probably cheaper not to outsource your coding, but it's a lot of work when you're doing the outsource. I mean, when you're doing all that coding, I mean, they have to pay you a pretty penny, and you're expected to always keep it up to date. Oh, businessman. Oh, just a sec. I don't have my IAMs open, sir, because I can open them, but I view it through a pop-out chat. Okay. You have a rural place, 60,000 annual volume. Wow. 188 to 238 hourly rate. So you're thinking about doing that total compensation package, 348 to 400,000, about $400,000. So they used to have MacBook Pros, and their MacBook Pros, aren't the MacBook Pros perfectly usable? Why would a MacBook Pro no longer be useful? And where are the MacBook Pros last? Where are the MacBook Pros sitting that the teachers were using? Troy McGregor growl face. Virtual Apple Oregon Trail disc. I have heard of this. It's required. Let's see. The ActiveGS extension. So I would have to install ActiveGS. I will save that. Thank you. That's pretty cool. I remember Oregon Trail from when I was a kid. I love that. Maybe I'll... Oh, I'm sorry for... I feel for you, though. It's a lot, TJ. Competency-based learning. Okay, let me check that out. You know a little about it? Competency-based learning. I'll check that out too. Do you guys have information about it online? Oh. Wow. Okay, sorry. 506. I don't mean to ignore you. Well, Linux is pretty good, but Macs are better than Linux, I would say. Yeah, exactly. That's the only thing. I'm trying not to ignore anyone. Yes, David's birthday was in April, so it's now past. You needed what, the MacBook Air for production? It was the worst computer you ever owned. You're back on the PC, you never looked back. How do you Wayne Party, I don't even know. I think you're a troll. That's not a real party. One high school teacher told you how to make Coke. What? Yeah, it seems like your teacher was a little strange, 952. Oh. You booted Windows on half the error stuff won't work. Oh, goodness. It's a frivolous Canadian party? I didn't know it was a real party. Oh my goodness. You're going to send those to who? David? David would flip his lid if you sent those to him. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Outlaw. Wow, he will definitely flip for sure. You can insert, they have emoticons that you can insert. So you have to do like a little code, businessman. So like you could do, like heart is easy because you can just do a little arrow and then a 3 like that. That's pretty easy. But then they have a whole list of them. I don't know where to find them. Find the list. Somebody maybe has a link to the list. 718 says it's down to the left. Wait, are you talking to Outlaw TJ T90 or you saw 4 gunshot wounds? You must have had fun. What do you think of Common Core, David? There you go. Thank you, Scissor Fight.
Well, you know,
I like Common Core, but
but
I don't like over-testing.
When No Child Left Behind was being implemented, I said, Sarah, why are they making tests in every single state? Why don't we have a standardization of our testing process? Why can't the government create some curriculum at the Department of Education level? And ironically, I thought that's what would be the best invention. And in a way, Common Core does a little of that, but not really. It imposes testing on kids that should be learning, and we can't even learn from the tests. The kids can't even learn from the tests. So there's a big disconnect there. We're talking about 2 weeks of very valuable time that's costing America a lot of money, where these kids are sitting there hating what they're doing. Plus, we don't have any motivation. The kids are losing their intrinsic desire to learn simply by sitting there like a robot, when they should be building robots, not behaving like them. And I think everyone needs to get excited about something, and I think robots and solar panels and wind power are really exciting for kids, and I think that's where we need to go. I think the Department of Education should be shrunk in size and also turned into a curriculum generating opportunity, and not forcing states to use it, just offer lots of opportunities. Online curriculum, kits that have solar panels and wind power opportunities, robotic kits like Legos makes. That's the way to stimulate the kids.
And I personally think a lot of Common Core is moving in that direction.
I hope so.
And especially what's called, not necessarily Common Core, but there's a thing called the Next Generation Science Standards.
Right.
And that's basically specifically for science. And that has science, technology, engineering, math. And engineering has been left off in the past. It's been left off of a lot of the science instruction, but having students actually build things is going to be becoming more to the forefront as the next generation science standards are adopted. Right now, the Common Core is adopted for math and reading, or not reading, they call it English Language Arts, which includes reading and writing. But then you'll see other standards come on board.
I think 50% of the administration of education should be fired. I want them fired. Seriously.
Well, I think
the administrators are costing a ton of money, and all they do is force teachers to do more busy work.
I told you, businessman, I could see IMs if I decide to open a completely another browser window, but right now I cannot see IMs.
IMs are a problem for us because we are managing multiple browsers, and there's only so much 24 gigs of RAM can handle. Not to mention spammers.
I don't know why.
So if you want to open a line of communication with us, your best bet is to call us on the phone. So I'll hang up the phone and we can take calls now. No, that's okay. If you want to send me important information and timely, call me on the phone. Yeah, 24 gigs is a lot. Hi there, internet troll. Wow. Instantaneous communication. Okay.
Do you want to go live or just private?
We'll go private on this. I'll talk to you.
IM.
Hey, how are you?
Okay, so David tends to like his calamari in a oh, thank you, Real PR. David likes his calamari. He just cooks it in like a pasta dish. I would say calamari.
Okay,
you can fry it, and it might go well with.
Okay. Thanks.
It might go well
Talk
with like onions.
Bye. Okay.
Well, I'm thinking about that 837, but I have to go back to school and get my master's degree, and then in order to move into the administration.
Yeah. All right. So, in dealing with Truth Tuesday, I wanted to bring up the fact I talked about this earlier, but this is an actual statement from one of our CIA directors. We know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false. So I'm going to make that the backdrop of the of a little bit of our show tonight, as I talk about all the lies we've been led to believe are true, which are not. So I'll be discussing a little bit about the birth certificate that I believe is still a forged issue and will involve prosecution of Barack Obama in 2017. And I'd also like to discuss the possibility that we are going to investigate even further whether Abbottabad was what they say it was.
He wants you to show
all these things that we'll be talking about.
By itself.
I got that, yeah.
Sorry.
So what I want to do is change a couple things on our show for this next scene. Give me a second.
Okay.
One moment, please. One moment, please.
Sometimes 837.
One moment, please. One moment, please.
They get emoticons from, as I said, vaug.hn/tech_corner.
One moment, please. Okay. Yeah, TJ, you're not making friends here, man. You're obviously against the grain. People don't
TJ?
want... Huh?
I like TJ. Who are you talking about?
Well, TJ's not making friends here because he's basically a person who sides with the entire status quo. He wants more automated oversight of our government. He wants more video monitors. He wants to walk around knowing... That's nice. I'm glad.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for putting a face to your name. That's nice. You bought the American dream. Now you're going to have to swallow the blue pill, where you find out what's really happening. How they're literally herding us into areas like cattle, turning human beings into veritable sheep-like behavior, forcing us into group think and making us all think in this Orwellian way that basically plays into the hand of the elitists who want to essentially get rid of the population. And this is more than just a theory at this point. Depopulation is something that has been thrust upon us by the elitists in the form of our education process. Now, the CIA is directly involved in monitoring the media and, of course, developing ideas that would shape your views. So if you believe, as you say you do, that you want more monitors and you think you'll feel safer, you're willing to risk your own freedom for security. You're willing to sacrifice your freedom as a human being. Now, I noticed at the bank the other day when I walked in, there's signs saying no sunglasses allowed. Seriously. All the banks now are putting up the no sunglasses thing. So if you walk into a bank with sunglasses on...
David, look at the camera and smile.
If you're walking to a bank and having a photo opportunity, it captures you with sunglasses, and you're like, that's right, you're being watched. Okay? So that's something that the banks are becoming more phobic about. They've had probably an ordinance, or it's probably part of the Check 21 program. Who knows? But it's becoming a big brother, and they're watching. Yeah, so I don't like all the cameras. I don't feel safer at all. I feel, in fact, almost... It's almost like a daily voyeurism thing.
Sunglasses off and smile.
Okay, great. I hope that worked. Okay, LO, the NSA can see your webcam right now. Yeah, exactly, LOL. I don't mind being seen
true.
on a
bet
show.
Philadelphia is kind of a dangerous place to live.
I don't mind being seen on a show. It's okay. It's fine. I'm not concerned. I have nothing to hide. If you have nothing to fear, you have nothing to hide. And that's the problem. They were inducing a policy that actually is kind of it forces the American people to not have any personal privacy.
Okay, I'm looking at it, orthopedics, cardiology, so
Yeah.
you can look at how much each person makes.
That's a great. I need to copy that.
Okay.
Copy that. Let me grab this.
Can I just turn them off?
Well, guests like to talk, and I don't want to make them feel like.
Okay, then I'm going to.
Well, look at this. This is not one of these picturable grabs. I can't grab it. I can only grab it as a frame grab. Let me do this.
Or just. Okay. Or save the thing. I just started investing in the stock market 159. David does not.
I don't believe in investing any money. Go ahead. All right, thank you. Good idea, thank you. I'm going to go ahead and the only investments I'm making are in things that can't be sold, like dust or dirt.
Actually, well, the show's only on for about half an hour more.
No, I'll be talking for a while.
About.
I'm going to continue. I'll go.
David will continue.
I'm going into depth today. Yeah, I'm preparing a whole Truth Tuesday thing, but.
Okay, so maybe I should step out.
Well, whenever you're done, because I don't want to.
Well, whatever. Do you need more? You need to take a break. I mean, you were.
I did take a break. I'm ready to go for the rest of the night.
Okay, just let me look at these South Carolina peaches.
Okay.
Sweet Southern peaches.
Wow.
Big smile.
Yeah, so I don't believe in anything. It's possible. Anything like the CIA robbing us of our freedom is in any way good. Domestic surveillance is not their domain. The CIA is designed specifically for foreign operations, and we should not have them overseeing our personal privacy. And they shouldn't be taking out individuals like Michael Hastings. Now, I'm not accusing them of taking out Michael Hastings. I'm insinuating that they could have been responsible. I didn't say that they did it.
Okay.
Wow.
Somebody says they're recommending buying Nicaraguan coastal acreage.
Oh, goody. I don't want to leave my house. And I would recommend all of you stay right where you're at.
They say they keep the hoods full of dope.
Keep your... Does. Oh, do they? Interesting. Thank you for sharing. And I'd also recommend that you keep your car filled with gas. I'm trying to get everybody ready for the coming apocalypse. It's going to be difficult for us. We know it's coming. We've all felt it. I believe that it's just a matter of time now before our entire world goes upside down. And I'm not trying to scare you, because I've seen it coming, and it's just a reality that, the stores are going to become priced out of ridiculous amounts. It's true. The prices are going to skyrocket.
Topics are you going to talk about in the next 30 whatever plus minutes so he can post it on Twitter?
Right. Okay. Thank you. Well, let's start
Truth.
with... No, I'm going to...
Justice, the American way.
No. This is truth. This is Obama's lies.
Obama's lies, truth.
Obama's lies, and I'm going to have a scroll going here. Hillary's lies.
Yes, you can call in. Our phone number is 1707 YOURATP. I don't know if I can disable emoji. You're the coder. Sorry, TJ1990. If you can teach me how to do it, I will do it. We no longer use Skype because Skype is vulnerable to attacks.
Yeah.
Very vulnerable. Okay, do you have enough? Obama's lies, Hillary's whatever? The New World Order agenda is going to be discussed. You got it? Oh, we're good. Thank you. I bet those are good. Ooh, South Carolina peach cobbler. Nice. It could all be stopped. Our drug distributing heads. No, they're probably not necessary for any reason, real Pierre.
No, I'm not worried about a financial crisis. It's something far worse than that. Financial crisis is going to be a piece of cake for us. We've got cash. We have a cash society. The nice thing about what we have to rest on is it's been in place for years, and it's good for a reason. It works. Now, there's evidence across the nation that there's South Carolina and states like Louisiana are trying to make it so that you can't purchase used items with cash. You have to use a credit card or a debit card or a check. They're making it almost impossible for people to use cash. So if the moneyless society is thrust upon you, that's probably the worst possible scenario, where your cash becomes worthless. That's something I don't want. But that's something that I'm thinking that the powers that be probably feel is necessary. They want to eliminate every aspect of a way in which any of us can get ahead. You've seen the typical ways they keep us from actually succeeding. I mean, affirmative action is my pet peeve, of course, but there's all these other oppressive techniques they're using by not allowing student loans, by claiming that student loans are burdening our system, blah, blah, blah. When it's a small fraction of the amount of investment capital out there, especially when you look at the money markets, which are $24 trillion. And the possibilities that a $2 quadrillion international market could be, sucking the value out of the U.S. dollar is very real. So we are definitely seeing a crisis in the dollar. But the thing is, we can use the dollars to our benefit. And if we shrink our currency to just the dollars that we really need, eliminating, say we pull a $50 bill out of the currency, hypothetically. We shrink the currency that's in use around the world, which automatically props up the value of our dollar.
837.
Now, that's a technique that would be very beneficial right now, or perhaps in 10 years, somewhere in this time period, between now and 10 years, where we can actually take one currency and begin to rearrange it. We assign the Treasury Department to it, and we deal with a changeover of our currency. But that's a response to an economic collapse. That's just one of them. But what's going on with the New World Order agenda is they want to turn us into a moneyless society. Go ahead. Guest off if you want. That's fine.
I need to know, is 837 a U.S. citizen? If you are a U.S. citizen, you can feel free to donate to us. How you donate is americasthirdparty.com/donate.
I don't believe any white people right now are receiving any benefit from affirmative action. You'd are hard-pressed to explain that to me, Lewis. Yeah. I've never seen a single Caucasian benefit from affirmative action. I'm really quite shocked you're saying that. Boy, he's really, I mean, he's off in affirmative action land, so he must think everything is giving,
We are not
everyone's getting, no.
We're not a 501c3. We are a 527, which is a political organization. So we are not allowed to receive any donations are not tax deductible. You must be a U.S. citizen to donate. You can only donate up to $5,000.
All right. Track and field is black all the way, though, yeah.
And the money must come from a personal account, no corporations.
Black people are great athletes. They should enjoy athletics in every college that they want to go to college in, but it doesn't really, it's not a white or black thing. You know, there shouldn't be separate people getting separate money based on their race. That defies the very spirit of what Martin Luther King suggested. I mean, is this a joke or something? Did I just wake up 50 years into my life and realize, oh my God, you people don't even know how to run your country? It's amazing. I'll pull it up. Is this a new Cheese song? Oh, leave it on. Leave it on. Let's take a look what he's got. Roger that. Roger Clenier.
Chi baby. Chi.
Chi baby.
I like the beat.
Sponheim for president.
That was good, man. I like it.
Nice.
You're getting better. Very cool. Nice job.
Sponheim for president.
Thank you. Hey, I'm liking it. If I want to dance to it, it's great. That's a good one. I like it.
David Sponheim for president.
That's a great beat. I love it.
Sponheim for president.
Very nice. Sarah is Sarah, yes. I am Sarah.
Sponheim for president.
Let me tell you what the coming apocalypse will be
let's
like.
be clear.
Let's be clear.
ATP, America's third party. David Sponheim for president.
Let's deal with the tragedy of the reality that faces us right now. So it's one thing at a time now. First of all, the financial collapse is it's a slow, incremental thing. If they want to turn it into a big thing, an instantaneous thing, a major event, they're going to put something else out there like a potential false flag of any. It could be the event could be a dirty bomb, God forbid. It could be something like an EMP, electromagnetic pulse, that could hit our coastline, and this could all be something that could be, completely choreographed from within the nexus of the powers that run our country. Who knows? All of that's possible, but that's concerning me. The reality that these people are willing to. We saw blood sprayed in the atmosphere on a chemtrail show last night on our show. We played it on the screen. You saw the blood spray in the atmosphere coming down. I mean, that's the most outrageous thing. Can you imagine contaminated blood sprayed over a large area of a metropolitan area? That's what people are taking pictures of right now. This chemtrail activity has gone overboard. It's beyond human comprehension. So many people are like freaking out, going, wow, is this an alien invasion or something? Are aliens controlling our country and poisoning us off slowly? Cool, that's good. I like it. Nice going, man.
Nice.
Good job. Got a great tweet there, man. Thank you so much. So these are questions people are asking, and it gets weirder. So I want to kind of tether us to the ground here and not freak out collectively. So what Sarah and I do know is you can prepare for the worst right now. Obama, Hillary, Bush, these are all birds of the same feather. They are all people that will do whatever the people that run this country tell them to do. And the two parties are completely bought off. That's my presumption, and I assume that that's true. I build my argument my truth argument around these key postulates, that our government has been turned. We've been dealing with mob-related activities at all levels within our government. That's a premise I'm building this third party on, that we have to build some sense of unity based on trust. That this trust is, that the distrust that's going on between the two parties and among the American people have actually evaporated our will as a nation to succeed. So we clearly need a new voice and clearly a way out that is trustworthy and honest to the core. We've lost that edge that this country needed. We've lost some of our icons that we believed in, that were honest and good and really truly were great presidents like JFK. And going way back, I look at Theodore Roosevelt and the work that he did to build this great nation. It's unbelievable the level of intense leadership he put into his lifetime. And he had a short lifespan, like 60 years. But then beyond that, Andrew Jackson. I mean, it just goes on and on. I'd say FDR, but he was an oppressive dictator. And he stifled the opportunity of people to actually question him. Hang on.
Do you think the cartoon show in Texas was a fly trap for ISIS? I know.
Yeah, it was.
Exactly.
It's probably a design. Point, counterpoint. They just set it up and knock it off.
I don't have the blood trails, the blood chemtrails. David can post a link to that stuff. I'm not into it. I don't even want to see it.
I don't want to show it to you.
David will probably say, see, I told you.
Well, it's on our recorded broadcast last night, so they'd have to go to
our video from last night. There you go.
Anyway,
YouTube.com/America's Third Party.
I'll tell you, I'm getting a little tight under the collar. I'll tell you, I got no respect. Okay. Somebody said last night, David, don't do any of these voices. They're really stupid. And I'm going, yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose I should just be, kind of normal. Good night, Lewis. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing Caucasians receive affirmative action funds someday. That's kind of funny. I don't think any of you realize I could hold a gripe. I don't. I don't care. I made life's choices and they're working out fine for me. But many people who haven't had the opportunity to get a college education knows the difficulty it is to move on and to advance for your family and save for the future. Without a college degree, you go from making, normally $20,000 a year to, normally you would make $20,000, but with a college degree, you would make $80,000 or more. Pretty much. In any area, which I think is a huge disparity and isn't fair. But I don't want to force the breakdown. There's no way I'm going to tell people what their wages should be. That would be a socialist to do that. I'm not a socialist. So I want the free market to readjust. And I want more opportunities for people in small business because that's where the job growth really will be. The truth is 60% of the growth in the jobs will come from small businesses. So that's why I embrace legalization of marijuana and all these other issues. But what the agenda is for the New World Order is to push our nation closer to being a third world nation without strength, a weakened border. And they want to turn us into the police force around the world. So we're the starving cops that are going around the world starting wars for the powerful elitists that want to take over every central bank in the known universe. So these people want to play a big, big game of controlling the world. And they're playing their game, and you're the pawn. We're the pawn in this huge game. So essentially, we as voters, individuals, are going to have to somehow cover our ass because times are tough, and we need backup plans, and I don't think they exist. FEMA does not have any regional outlets to support us with enough food for years to come. That sucks. We can't distribute food fast enough to reach the people in Nepal. We're talking 4,900 people who died there or more. I'm not sure. I haven't checked the latest statistic, but we're seeing a lot of death and destruction because of our ineptitude as a nation. We could deliver a lot faster to other nations and help them quicker than to rely on a supply chain that is completely corrupted with moneyed payoffs and intermediaries and middlemen who are sucking the lifeblood out of this country. And your tax dollars are being evaporating as a result of it. So you're not seeing a big benefit from your dollars. And your education funds that are being pulled out of your property taxes, those of you who do pay them, we're not seeing major benefits in higher costs for education. We need to lower the cost of education, but make sure that the teacher-to-student ratio increases, so more teachers per student. And basically pull the disability students into one area like we used to focus instead of integrating them. I think integrating disabled kids into our mainstream classroom has led to almost a watering down of our curriculum and a teaching to the lowest common denominator, which is not a good thing. So I think we need some structural changes in our system to make it run a little bit more efficient and get a return on investment for the government. That's essential. And then I think everything will run fine for at least 500 to 1,000 years. Once we tweak these little things in our budget, we'll be able to eliminate the tiers of power and corruption in our nation. Even a flat tax, for instance. A flat tax, like we've talked about, a 10% tax on incomes over $100,000. This is a small tax to pay, really, for people that make a lot of money. It's cheaper for them to do it that way. And we get rid of all the tax loopholes that are currently being used by many special interest groups and individuals that are sucking your tax dollars in their tax loopholes. Energy credits and all kinds of garbage. Okay. I think this is Butt Sniffer. Am I right? Is this Butt Sniffer?
Yeah, it is, Dave. How you doing tonight, buddy?
I was thinking about you earlier. Yeah, I was looking at two images of, I had this Grand Theft Auto 4 strip club. I was watching these two women dance, and it looked very, I was thinking about you. It was really kind of disturbing, but fun at the same time. So how you doing, man? What's been going on?
I'm doing good, Dave. I've been sober for fucking 2 weeks now.
Cool.
I'm just enjoying life. And
Right on. Wow. Sober for 2 weeks.
Enjoy the show.
Excellent.
How's you?
Well, when you say sober, you don't smoke marijuana, do you?
Yeah, I do that. Yeah.
Right on, man. That's sober as far as if you're able to quit alcohol by smoking a little doobie, I think you'll be fine the rest of your life. I don't see how there'd be a problem, you know.
Yeah, I will be. Yeah.
You'll be able to rest on that.
Fall back on that. Smoking little cheeses. Man, that should be a little.
What about jobs? Do you work in the transportation, or you're a builder, right? You're a builder. You're a construction guy, right?
No, I'm a construction worker.
Okay,
I'm a contractor.
So what do you do during the day? You lay drywall or put up paneling? What's your daily?
No, I'm masonry. I build foundations.
Wow.
Brickwork, stonework.
Wow.
I'm heavy duty.
Yeah.
I'm a strong motherfucker.
So you're a big guy too. You're about 300 pounds, roughly.
No, I'm only 220.
Oh, okay, cool. I was getting overly intimidated by your body and your size. I was imagining this hulk of a guy who's just this monster of a man. But 220 is a pretty big guy. I'm 225 myself. So yeah, I know. But that's great, man.
Yeah, but I'm only 5'11", so you're like you're 6'4" or whatever. So.
I have to say, TJ 1990,
Wow.
you haven't been have you been, I think you need to spend some time in the classroom. 28 students.
Yeah.
When you start adding students, 30 students, 40 students, it makes a huge difference to the quality of education.
So he's saying hire 30 more teachers per school. What's wrong with
no,
that?
he's saying that if they made the student-teacher ratio 20 students for one teacher, they would have to hire 30 more teachers per school, because they're burgeoning out.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to deal with this teacher-to-student ratio, but my concern was putting disability kids in this integrated in the population is going to actually water down the curriculum, and that's why I like the disabled kids in one location with a couple of learning assistants earning half the salary of a teacher. When you're looking at teachers and the teachers' unions and all the money and the finances, you're looking at $65,000 to $85,000 a year paychecks. Man, that sucks money up quick. So when you take a learning instructor who's making $30,000 a year, versus $65,000 a year. That's a big difference, and you're still giving hands-on attention to the individual, the kid with disabilities. And they're in a one classroom situation, so they can bounce between the kids that are disabled.
Yeah, Dave, I use my kids like hockey sticks and stuff.
What's that? You drinking coffee? I'm drinking coffee.
And then baseball bats on the side. You just do that.
Are you suggesting a baseball bat? What?
Are you drink coffee? Right.
I drink coffee. I would recommend it, man.
No, I like Sarah. Sarah's looking good tonight. How you doing tonight, Sarah?
Yeah, she's doing good. Hey, any questions? Are you coming up with a question? You just want to hang and talk?
Overpaid. Yeah. What do you do, Internet Troll? Besides just trolling the internet?
All right, no questions. All right. Well, thank you for calling, Butt Sniffer. Appreciate it. I know, but I appreciate you calling.
No, I wasn't saying you were the Internet Troll.
No, we're
I was
not
talking
calling
to the chatter named Internet Troll, not you,
Not you.
Sniffer.
Not you, Sniffer.
You want me to stay on?
No, well, if you don't have any questions, we need to kind of close the show down. We got 3 more minutes left, and I didn't want to just talk about, Common Core all night long.
Plenty of questions.
Well, what is your question?
Usually you don't answer my question.
What is your question? I want to answer one of your questions.
I have a link for you, Internet Troll.
What is your prediction? When will Yellowstone explode?
Okay, when will Yellowstone explode? Good question, Butt Sniffer. Okay, I really believe that I would be lying to you, and I don't want to lie to you if I knew the answer, because there is no real answer to your question. What we could do is outgas Yellowstone and take some of that geothermal force and use it, and perhaps garnish some sort of energy from it. That's possible. And that's something I think will alleviate the threat of when Yellowstone will actually turn into a massive volcanic eruption. But many scientists are looking into it does feel like there's something going on there, that every single year it gets worse. There was a stampede of cattle and all kinds of animals that are indigenous to that area that happened about 6 months ago.
Yes.
You heard about that?
Yes, Dave. Yellowstone, it scares me.
Yeah.
It really scares me bad.
I know, man. Are you downwind from Yellowstone, Butt Sniffer?
Yeah, I'm in Nebraska, so I'm downwind from it, but not very far.
Yeah, you're right in the blow zone right there. Yeah. I'd look at building an underground facility where you're at, like get a mobile mini and dig it down and then put it in the ground. Mobile minis are great because they're already sealed. They're fully rust protected. They've already been really heavily painted. So drop that in the ground and then build yourself a survival center down there if you have a piece of property. Because that's the only way you're going to survive the coming volcanic eruption,
Probably will.
Yeah, it'll just be dust by the time it gets to you, though. But this could cause a blackout on the planet. There could be an endless blackout.
I think I'll last like Kenny and his splatter.
Okay, man. All right, take it easy. Thanks for calling. Take it easy.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you later.
Later. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, yeah, that was Butt Sniffer asking about Yellowstone and the big blow. And that they say that's a doomsday scenario for the planet, one of the big doomsday scenarios. I don't want to just dwell on doomsday scenarios. The truth is we don't know when it will blow. And then this theory that there's a drought in California, I can erase that instantly as president. I make a phone call to the right person and we'll stop the chemtrails. There's no reason for us to be separating the moisture levels from the north and the south and evaporating the middle of our country. So, I have it's kind of an ideal fantasy of what a president can do. I realize it's much of a fantasy in some ways because I can only do as much as I can do. And if I can attempt to try to stop the ravages that are going on by some very secret forces within our government, God knows I would, and I will. But there's only so much I can do, and I'm going to see how much I can do. Because there's a certain level of, for instance, if I pulled fluoride out of the water system, I'd have to maintain a person in every city that I could trust, a federal employee that I could trust to test the water. And that could be everyone sending their home samples, for all I care, to a central location, which would be fine with me. So, without sending people into the field, you guys would be sending me a plastic container that the government would send you with their postage paid if you asked or requested to send it in, to make sure your water's free of fluoride. So that's something that would be possible. But it would be easier for me just to send a person. It may be more cost efficient for me to send a person directly to each location and test it directly. So, all right. So, maintaining a positive attitude in a tough time is perhaps going to be our biggest challenge right now. A lot of you realize that, whatever's coming, because I know everyone can sense it. If you have any intuition at all, something's coming. I just don't know what. Neither do you. I didn't answer your question, Blue Notes. Sorry. I'm still going to be on for another half hour or so. I'm going to talk more about Obama, Hillary, and Bush, and the New World Order agenda. There is an embargo being lifted right now against Cuba. Will I? No. No, I won't. I would only open a small door of trade. I don't believe in everything or nothing. I believe we can start small and build up. Same with this ridiculous treaty that Obama's pushing for with Iran over Iranian's nuclear program. It's a joke. He wants to give him $50 billion and get a one nuclear bomb created in 366 days. Okay, you're on. What's your question?
Yeah.
Thank you. What do you say?
I've been watching you for a long time, and my screen name is Dan Ray 20.
Okay.
But I would like to know how are you going to fix everything? I would like to know how you going to fix it.
Yeah. Great question. Yeah, it's overwhelming, isn't it?
It works seriously.
I know.
How you going to fix the budget?
Yeah.
And the problem is going overseas. We're not worried about overseas. I know that. I'm behind you 100%. But
yeah, it's going to be tough.
How are you going to fix our country?
Well, on Wednesday, tomorrow is our wasteful. Yeah, I'll give you some details. Tomorrow is our Wasteful Wednesday show, and we're going to talk about tomorrow. We're going to talk about slashing the budget by $1 trillion the first year. Now, the Republicans have a plan by 2024.
I'm not trying to be a smart butt or
no,
nothing like that, like all the other assholes. I just love to hear your
specifics.
How you're going to fix, explain it to where,
yeah, we're going to give you the basics here.
I would like to go back to the basics.
Yeah, we'll give you the
let's go back to the
specifics.
basics. The first thing that we need to focus on, I believe, is food, water, shelter, healthcare, transportation, then education. So let's go into food. With the food program, we have an essential food program. That means that we would like the farmers right now are currently getting money to not grow food. They actually get a subsidy. Certain farmers get a subsidy to leave their land fallow. And we don't...
that happened. That happened in the 80s with the milk. I'm serious. Everybody don't laugh at me, but the milk cows.
Absolutely.
The 80s, 85. Go.
Yes, and fortunately at that time...
They were overstocked.
Right.
Yeah, water, food, the basics, yeah.
I didn't understand that because I was like 17 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, because I worked on a dairy farm, but I didn't realize the fact that why is the government buying up the dairy farms? That's milk and produce going to everybody. And
yeah, we should have government-run dairy farms.
I still don't understand that because I remember them buying the cows off 50 cents on a pound, and there was no. Why wasn't the milk being sold? Well, that overstocked. But they were talking about the cheese thing that they gave out back then. I don't know what it was. It was like the benefits for the poor. It was weird.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't understand all that.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so the government. I know the government screwed up, but I would love to hear how everything's going to be.
Yeah.
Explain how you're going to fix it.
Sure. Yeah.
So first,
I'd like to give you some.
Everybody would be.
I want to give you some big picture things so you understand what we're looking at a massive debt that can be slowly erased by simply getting rid of the United States corporation. It's going to be a huge task. It'll involve retiring the Federal Reserve and building up an infrastructure bank at the United States of America. And the infrastructure bank will be coming out of the executive branch and will be operating a very effective bank where we don't make money on you. We just simply pull 2%, no more than 2%. That's a small draw just to finance it. It's almost like the Grange where you go out and get a farm loan and they only charge you 5%, but it's even better than that. It's a 2% loan. And then you get an opportunity where we actually stimulate American businesses to actually hire U.S. citizens at a living wage of $15. And we don't do this with foreign companies. We don't offer loans to foreign companies. Only U.S. businesses hiring U.S. citizens at a living wage of $15 an hour. And then we start to see the economy begin to get more retail spending when we get this motion going. And that's the finesse behind the whole thing. That's what needs to be done. And we also offer jobs through the government. And I believe the government is responsible for creating jobs, unlike Obama, who doesn't believe that. I believe the government can start the ball rolling and hand it over to private sectors without getting too big. I believe that even the Homestead Renewal Plan could be a light, smooth, dynamic program which can seed improvements and renovations in neighborhoods, neighborhood by neighborhood, and slowly rebuilding our country and our infrastructure. I also believe that we can tell our bankers overseas to go take a hike for a while we get this system up and running.
I will percent on that.
Okay.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but can I say something else? But 10 years ago, I worked at a place that the county. I know we're going back to county.
Yeah.
You there?
Yeah, I'm
yes,
there.
Go ahead.
Okay. County. I worked by a county building, and there was 2 government-owned county buildings. I'm talking about going back to the county-wise, city-wise.
Right.
There was 2 buildings that our county paid for. They were sitting there empty, and the government's all the time talking about jobs, creating jobs.
Okay.
They spent all this money, but we just spent like $1 million on 3 buildings.
Did building any products? Were there any products?
There's a job in the county.
All right. What's that? Go ahead.
This is what I'm mad about. I'm all for you.
Yeah, they just wasted that money.
I'm all about the idea of.
They just built empty buildings.
Let's break it down to the.
Okay.
Let's break it down to the city.
Okay.
Bring it up to the county.
All right.
Then bring it up to state. Then bring it to the government. It all works. Why? It always has. That's why it's set up that way.
Yeah, but it works, but it can also has a leaching effect. You see the corruption leach money out of these contracts. Those guys were making money at the county doing that. Yeah.
That's what I'm leading up to.
Oh, okay, good.
The Obama, the stimulus package thing that was going on with Bush.
Yeah.
And then it ended up with Obama coming in office.
Exactly.
There's a bridge down here. I live in Chattanooga, right here by Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Right below it.
I know that area.
They built a freaking bridge that was on the stimulus package.
Okay.
And I drove down to the little office, the warehouse, and the office that I work at. Seriously, I don't mean to talk about nobody, but I'm going to say it like this. There was freaking Mexicans working. Whoa. And I said, Jerry, I need to get on, that I need to go to work up there.
Yeah.
But they were all Mexicans. And the dude that was over the gun building that freaking bridge that our government, we spent money on,
right,
hired Mexicans, and none of them could talk English.
Right.
Because I went up there and talked to them. And we were paying them to build a bridge. That's not a stimulus package.
Yep.
That is paying, what was it called, where they had the work visa.
Yeah, the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act and the work visa.
Hey, you know what? Why couldn't we have a work visa?
Yeah.
We would have worked on that bridge.
I know.
For $10 at the time, honestly, $10 an hour about 4 years ago.
Yeah,
we
well,
would have worked for $10 an hour.
we got Obama giving $50 billion now to Iran when we could build bridges with $25 billion of that in every city in America, and we don't have to hire illegals. We need to train welders, guys that are journeyman welders that could work on these bridges.
Yes, sir.
So-
Yep, 100%.
I hear you.
That really pisses me off.
It pisses me off, too.
I'm sorry, I'm talking about.
No. I believe me. I don't mind. This is exactly the kind of conversation
Absolutely,
we love.
because you and I, we see eye to eye.
Yeah, we don't. You know, I've waited a long time for a good conversation with somebody who really wants to talk about our country. I like this.
Yeah, I'm all about y'all, and absolutely right. But I apologize for starting the conversation off wrong, but I would love for you to tell how you would fix everything.
Yeah.
Because if you do that, I promise you'll probably get off.
Okay.
And just plain sense on how you can fix that.
Right.
To where, Obama coming in with good. Honestly, Obama all of them comes with good terms, and they get Congress, and they get everybody telling them what they're going to do. They all always get I don't know what is it called, government-wide. Everybody telling them what to do. There's not a president. They ain't been a president in office in a long time. Everybody else telling them what to do.
So true.
It's so true. Yeah,
I totally
that is
agree.
True. And I will tell you this: I can't tell David what to do, and if I can't tell him what to do, nobody else is going to be able to.
I'm probably one of the more headstrong people, but I'm open to compromise. But I don't want to be.
Yeah,
I don't want to be
course.
weakened by my compromise either. I mean, there's a point at which a president has to lead, and then there's a point at which he has to, put himself in check. If I were dealing with your money, which I am as a president, dealing with the tax dollars of the American people, I don't want to waste them. And I'm a really careful spender to the point where it's maniacal with me. I'm a really careful spender. I can find the cut in the budget needed to keep our country running, yet running lean. I can get that happening. That much I can promise you. And I won't join a secret society. That's my point. We have a lot going here, guys. We've got a real furtive environment for a new revolution of sorts, but an online revolution. And we've talked about, I came from the left to go to the right in this entire process, to come back to the middle. So I did the pendulum swing when I first started. And I'm in the middle right now. And I've always been in the middle. And I don't plan on going to the left, except in areas where the government gets a return on investment. And whenever I say that, people call me a communist, and I'm not. I just want our government to run efficiently. That's all I'm asking. I'm not trying to get people to start goose-stepping around. I just want them to get some money back. So when you said you want government farming opportunities, it's perfect with, like our farm subsidy program right now. We give money to farmers to not grow things in Nebraska.
That's got to end.
We got to end that. We need them growing things.
It's also called tax breaks. If you got 20 cows on a freaking a 400 acre,
right?
That's not a tax break. They're not. It's like somebody having a fish farm. They throw in a couple of ponds and they grow fish.
Yeah.
They get a tax break.
I know.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Hidden tax breaks. You're right. So stop the tax breaks.
We built their damn pond. What I'm saying. I mean, it goes both ways. I know. Farmers, you take advantage of the situation.
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful hair.
Yeah,
we definitely don't. These people that are sucking green energy tax credits, the electric companies right now are saying, we can't handle it anymore. We can't finance 50 cents a watt to these big turbines that are sucking us dry. These people put these big wind turbines in to make money initially on the tax credits, but long term they want to continue reaping profits from the electric grid. So the price of electricity has skyrocketed for the average consumer. The price of food at the market is a joke. I mean, how many of us are living on hot dogs now just to deal with the cost containment of beef? Just to eat a piece of beef now is like $9 a pound or something. So it is exactly like I predicted it would happen. This whole thing is going to be, we're going to have to get back to the government handling some basic essential food items at the store and creating a low-cost food selection and still make a profit and still keep the thing going and get the money back to the taxpayer. So you guys get a tax lowering, or we just set up a flat tax where the tax is automatically lower and absorb the cost, and we get money back as a government. So we've got a lot of moves to make, but we need to make kind of a kung fu move on the American economy to kind of pull it together. But it's not going to take it down. It's not going to. We got a strong service economy, strong consumer base. It's not going to go anywhere. We're still one of the biggest shoppers around the world of any country, bar none.
And to that,
Right.
yeah, we are. That's why everything gets shipped over here and nothing gets shipped over there.
Well, and that's starting to change. We're starting to see big screen TVs.
Oh, that was on no face.
Yeah. Hey, thank you, Sarah. This has been awesome.
Thank you. I'll be back tomorrow.
We'll be
Sorry,
back.
didn't spend too much time.
The cow thing, though, about the milk, they was just, back then, it was just about to drive the prices up.
Right. Well, we want to take that cow milk and not integrate it into. We want to put milk into cheese and convert it into blocks of cheese like we did during the government cheese program. That's our plan.
Yeah,
it'll work.
Driving the company down.
Well, we won't be lowering the cost of cheese worldwide.
Back then is what I'm getting at.
What's that?
Way before then.
Way before then. Okay, well, I'd like to talk about reviving agriculture because it's special to me. But I do want to talk tonight about, Obama's lies, Hillary's lies, and Bush's lies. So,
very true. But I'm sorry.
Well, I can start with Obama. He basically has lied about almost everything. Go ahead.
I appreciate you taking my call and everything, and but Nate, I would love to hear you have a conversation about how you're going to do everything.
Yeah.
Explain it out.
Yeah.
Instead of in it, something your chat.
I'd like to. Yeah, I'd like to spend a good night talking
when
about
you go on the subject, just explain how you're going to do it.
Yeah, sure.
And to you, because you look down at your Texas, and I do the same daggone thing when I talk to people, but just explain how this is what we're going to do. Y'all shut up. Hey, here we go. You know what I mean? Because I know you're right.
Well, this is the thing, our soil is the first step. Look at the basics, man. I mean, the basics is the soil. Yeah. Our soil is so depleted in Nebraska, it's ridiculous. If we don't look at a new plan to get agriculture going back in your area, we have a plan called the National Composting Plan, and the National Composting Plan is exactly what I expected it to be, a plan to create fertile soil that will resist drought.
Yes.
That's the key. We don't have enough of that. Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. I hear you, and I'll tell you what. I'm gonna get off the phone and let you continue what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I do appreciate you and Sarah taking my call and hearing me out, and hope you set my call next time.
Yeah, I'll try. Yeah. Thank you.
Dan Ray 20. I was a smart ass one time, and I'm not now.
That's okay. No problem. I'm glad you were in.
I believe in y'all, and I'm pushing for y'all now.
Well, thank you.
You're
Yeah.
really talking a little bit of sense now. And
Yeah, I'll make more
like
sense
this.
to you. I hope to make more sense to you because I know it's been a big disconnect. We've had a kind of a sidetrack over the years, just kind of talking about nonsense in our show. Sarah's better
you're
looking.
doing good, man. I listen to you every night, to be honest with you. Y'all see me sign in, and I don't never say nothing ever since I got banned for being a smart ass. But I appreciate y'all.
All right, we'll lay out my agenda, sure.
And,
Okay.
That'd be great. Well, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you, caller. Bye-bye. Well, I'm not going to lower the price of cheese. The whole purpose of the farm subsidy program is to keep the price of cheese up. I'm going to make government cheese available at a low cost. It won't be the high quality cheddar that you expect, but it'll be an American cheddar, and it'll be basic. You don't have to go too far off the deep end to understand what I'm talking about here. And the longer it sits, the more it gets sharp. So you'd be surprised what mild cheddar will taste like after six years in a refrigerator. I've done that. I've actually turned mild cheddar into sharp cheddar. But yeah, it was a good call. The problem is so huge that we have to look at the basics, like Sarah was saying, but build up from there. So when we take each component of how the economy is going to be developed, we have to improve it. So we have a national composting plan to actually create fertile soil, and it'll be available at low cost. Bags of compost will be 25 cents, 50 cents a bag, something like that. But still just roll it out, and so everyone can improve their soil. Now, the countries around the world are doing this just to survive. So we're headed in the same direction they are. Obviously, sustainability is the key. National food production right now is being managed at a massive macro level. will continue developing, agriculture, mass agriculture, and they can continue doing what they're doing in large areas. But the National Composting Plan will come into play not to destabilize the agricultural field, but to add to it, to bring back better soil to our nation so we can resist a drought. Okay, so we dealt with that. And then there's the talking about Obama's lies. I would say the number one thing was no mandatory health insurance, and he gives us Obamacare, a tax, and he said it wasn't a tax. That's a huge lie that's affecting every single person in America. The ATP cheddar, yeah. National composting is a plan to actually pick up stuff out of the back of restaurants and bring them to a central location in your area. Trucks will be provided running on diesel. We've got trucks right now. Even the National Guard have trucks that run on diesel. It could be retrofitted to carry compost, oil exchange from restaurants, and begin the biodiesel program and create hempoline as well, and which would include people growing hemp openly. We could use it on the highways and the byways, freeways, growing hemp and processing it with the trucks that produce the oils that generate cash. All this brings money back. So those are the things that can run in the background. Meanwhile, the free market is evolving. Infrastructure starts to develop with this infrastructure bank idea of 2%, trickling in more retail spending into the retail sector. And then we start to see a merchant sector emerge. And then we start to come in where areas in like the concept of expensive healthcare, we have the alternative with the mobile medical units. So those kick in whenever people need a basic checkup and they don't want to spend a lot of money. We always give people options, and that's the key. Develop a system that constantly gives people options and choices. Don't force people to do anything. And initiate private enterprise operations, even in our solar panel design area, where we want to develop solar panels, mass-produced solar panels, and not give it to venture capitalists like Solyndra, not give these contracts to foreign companies as well, like Fisker Motors got the electric car that lost us $1.5 billion. We made a lot of mistakes. This is a brand new attempt to build a government that provides low-cost items that can be mass-produced and sold by individuals starting businesses, small businesses, private enterprise, solar installation companies, mom and pop operations in your area, marijuana distribution. I mean, you name it, the possibilities are enormous for people to be growers, sellers, people that make custom products out of marijuana, that like, medicinals, people that develop, I'm serious. So all of these things the government backs out of and says, okay, you guys enjoy what you're going to do. And this is how the free market evolves. And yes, Obama lied about small businesses. My infrastructure bank is addressing the small business directly. But less government control on our personal lives, less regulations on small businesses, less labor and industry laws about permits, about licensing. All of that is costing money. And we're going to have to be laying off a few people in the federal infrastructure. Ironically, the states are going to make their own decisions because they're in charge of their own budget, but the federal infrastructure is going to lead by example by trimming the ship. A 50% reduction in staffing initially at $65,000 to $190,000 a year salaries will be brought down to more like $36,000 base minimum, with a cap of $100,000. So, I mean, we're talking about a structural savings of $30 billion a year for our country, simply in the federal expense of these jobs. We'll use that in another way. I'm going to save money on the prison system by eliminating low-level drug offenders from our prisons, our federal prisons, and begin to relax the costs and lower the costs of the federal prisons and get rid of the private prison system as we know it. Not eliminate it, but let it dwindle. Let it start to shut down. Making vast, big moves is not a good move. Slow, steady, but trimming the ship, always maintaining austerity. Now, I'm not going to stand here and say, "Oh yeah, this is going to be a gleaming example of an incredibly rich and lavish lifestyle we're all leading." No, we're going to start to buckle down, but it's a nice way of doing it because we're going to have our own food supply. We're going to rely on that. We're not going to rely on super corporations necessarily to provide us the food we need. Big difference between Obama's plan, Hillary's plan. They will basically create an infrastructure, the military-style police state, and slowly turn our nation into a hellish nightmare. You know that this new company, Cerberus, that bought up our stores, the Albertsons Safeway, it's actually the three-headed dog. It's the three-headed dog, a mythical three-headed dog, Cerberus, that guards the gates of hell. So that's what we're looking at with the corporate-controlled economy that's evolving right now, without any backbone, any structural government options for alternatives for us. So this is the future, really. I mean, if the Democrats continue their reign of terror, the mythical creature will guard the gates of your store at your local market. You know, that's Cerberus. A corporation, Cerberus is a corporation that has been following a process called the buyout practice. And the buyout practice is these companies just continue, buying out everybody below them. And they use a method to do it. They even offer loans to their competitors. Classic, and they offer their loans are so generous that competitors strangle themselves in credit. In our area, there's a company called Hagen that had to open up 125 stores in 122 days. Thank you, Patriot Bird. I'm listening to you guys. I read your chat. I know many of you are, the dissensions are good. I like this. This is good. The government's gotten too big. But it has to do something to trigger the private sector. We can't just sit on our hands and wonder, gee, maybe private business will solve everything. All right. Well, Hagen is a company that, Haggen, that is one of those companies that's barely hanging in there financially. Their records show that they're not doing that well. But Cerberus offered them a really sweet deal, and they gave them 125 stores in a deal that went through the Trade Commission. They said it was okay. And Cerberus bought up the Safeway and took the Safeway brand, giving most of the Albertson stores to Hagen. And I believe that this is a power move designed to absorb their enemy. So that we go to the store in front of our area, it's the Safeway, it's actually packed with people because everyone buys Safeway in our area. They've been doing it for years. They don't change. So they have that name brand power that continues to get people in, whereas Hagen is a better store and offers better value, ironically. But in recent years, they haven't. They've been kind of blew a lot of people off. So these local mom and pop stores just can't play hardball with these big guys. These big guys stripped the store down to no costs. They threw in DOS machines in our pharmacy at the Safeway. And you walk down the aisles of the store, and it's like a FEMA camp. It's like, this is it. Safeway died in the UK 20 years ago, really. Well, it's like a FEMA camp. Well, and it's not cheap anymore, I'll tell you. They're doubling their prices. Everything's $5 that was $3.99. And they're sucking money left and right. Oh, yeah. They're good at what they do, man. And they go in, they don't spend much money on the floors. They got duct tape all over the store, and it's been, 3 weeks now? R.I.P. Fedco. Fedco could have been a store that could have actually succeeded. It could have followed the Gemco and the Memco model and actually been alive for a few years. There's Whitefront, Zodi's, Gemco, Memco, Fedco, all those great stores that were pre-Walmart. Yeah, I remember those days. Save Mart, there you go. But Safeway itself has literally turned into this the beasts of Cerberus, and they've got massive holdings around the world. And they follow the same tactics as groups like the Carlyle Group and others. Very powerful buyout companies that have been doing this for years. So in order to offset the power of these big corporations that are in the clutch of, that basically have Obama and Hillary and Bush in their clutch. I mean, look at the Carlyle Group. That was originally started under George H.W. Bush. And Cerberus, their CEO is Dan Quayle, our former vice president. So you're looking at the very clutch of the Republican administration, and you've got Hillary in the back pocket of the Goldman Sachs Group and countless other people connected to the foundation the Clintons have. One of my short-term goals. I don't really have any short-term goals regarding this election. Because of the obstacle we have of getting the mainstream media, and no one will even show my face on any television station around the country, I have to continue just doing what I'm doing. And until that breaks, then I have short-term goals. And then I have long-term goals. Thank you. All right, so talking about Obama's Obamacare lie, that's the biggest one. I don't need to go into the specifics about his background. We do that on other shows. And it's becoming a moot point. I mean, our country's moving on. It's no longer even an issue. It will be an issue, but it'll be the Justice Department investigating Barack Obama's birth certificate. But it's not the issue of the day. The issue of the day really is, how are we going to do this? And then, of course, when you look at the history of this New World Order agenda, and it's ever since, George W. Bush, H.W. Bush talked about it in 1992, they've been pushing this plan to absorb our entire country and give their corporate elitists all the power. So these big corporations like Cerberus and Carlyle Group, they want to control the entire country. They want to basically dictate your future. Now, you have a government that could very well create an instrument of a grain reserve, a backup biofuel reserve, all in your name, the taxpayer's name. But in no way could we do this with big corporations dominating politics across the country. Not going to happen. So Kenny Lenny came up with some cool designs for us last night. Thank you, Kenny Lenny. That's kind of fun. But there's a tendency to, when we do the show, of fighting the trolls. Now, I don't like roller coasters, but I can imagine having to puke while doing one. Yeah. We normally don't do the show with an intent to have mindless chat half the time. And I understand your frustration, many of you, when our chat goes off topic and doesn't seem to make any sense. It's not my fault. I'm merely responding to the media. I'm the messenger. I'm the person behind the scrim. So I can't always rely on this medium as a great way to represent what we're doing, because it is such a abused a medium by various people. Oh, there we go. That's the background I was looking for. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Dave, you don't want to be President Gray, doesn't fit you. Oh, yeah, I see your point. Yeah. You're very rational. Okay, well, tell you what. Why don't we just let these imbeciles run our country into the ground, and we'll just sit back and wonder why it all fell apart? Would you rather that? Much better. Too many banners? Okay. All right, I'll eliminate the banners. Sorry. All right. This is not what happens when Sarah, yeah. No, I'm just trying to get something that works. You like the first symbol better? Yeah, I like that first symbol too. I don't seem confused at all, no. Well, one of the things I'm going to do to uphold the Constitution is maintain the structure of our government and respect the state rights and individual freedoms. Going back to personal freedom, that's paramount. That's ahead of state freedoms and your police state that you see with the other method. The Republicans and Democrats want the government, the federal government, to oversee the states and the states to oversee the individual. I want the individual to oversee the state and the state to oversee the federal government and tell it what not to do and have some power. Because we are, after all, a union of 50 states. Now, we have the 5th Article 5 of the Constitution, which would give 2/3 of the states the ability to counter anything I said. And I would definitely get that placed in the forefront. I would urge Congress to do everything they can to work in opposite directions to me if they feel that truly 2/3 of the people want the opposite. But I'm going to be working in favor of the 2/3 majority. So whatever they do, they're going to have to get ahead of me agreeing with 2/3 majority. It's a very pivotal position for a president to do, and I can become a lot more powerful for the nation if I am your representative. Being the representative of corporations like Hillary and Jeb Bush doesn't give you the power that you need in the executive branch. They become a simple puppet of the existing structure that we have, the corporatocracy. I am all in one. Yeah, here I am. I do the show every night. No, I don't need to call in. No. Oh, the phone is off? Yeah, I don't need to call in. I'm good. I'm just trying to pull it all together. I used to enjoy slamming Obama during these late hours. You know, it was fun. It was actually enjoyable. But it's no longer that fun anymore to talk about Michelle, the transgender, and Obama's birth certificate. It's just kind of boring and passé now. It's kind of, I've evolved out of the realm because things have gotten too serious. There are things going on in the world now that seem to be overwhelming to some people, and this Jade Helm is just the tip of the iceberg. We've got a system now where, yeah, the skies are being polluted by an unknown force. God knows who or what is doing this, but it's terrible. I mean, you look at it, it's like, what are they doing? Why would they do this to us? And then, you know, there's other issues that just keep popping up that just get worse and worse as time goes on. This gun control, putting us in lines like a bunch of sheep and cattle. Here's this Connecticut lineup for people to register their weapons here. See? It's like endless. It just keeps going on. And then the Democrats have this agenda of not answering questions, never responding to critical issues that are facing the country, but just deferring them. Like, for instance, this situation with Afghan opium. It's crazy. This is the growth rate of the production of opium since Obama took over. You're right around 2012, 2013. See how much opium they're producing now and the heroin production out of Afghanistan? In 2015, it grew 17% more than this chart is showing it. So it's like somewhere up here, right now. This is the current amount of opium. And that's why heroin is cheaper in our cities. I am responding to the chat all the time. Thank you, Internet Troll. Well, Blue Note, I don't see the point of having to register guns when all people need is to bear the right to bear arms. It's a simple plan to, at the least, make sure that mental patients and dangerous criminals or capital offenders can't get guns. That's it, a verification process only, but not a need for the government to oversee our daily personal life. That's why I say I have a reverse view of our country as I interpret the Constitution. That I see the Constitution written where the individual, this guy right here in this line, has more rights than some government that would tell him he has to, wear an RFID chip or some ridiculous thing in order to clear a turnstile at his local department store. I mean, all these things are coming down the pipe, especially with robotics happening. That if you don't have a person fighting for this individual in this line right here, you, veritably you in this line, this nation is going to slip out of control, and the leverage of the power will completely go into the hands of the feudalists, the monarchs that have controlled the destiny of our monetary system for the past, 500 years? We have a regulation. It's called verification. That's the plan. And it's certainly something that many states like Washington State complies with. Thank you. No, RFID is in no way something that you would force into a person's body. Your body is your temple, the temple of your body. It is literally a place of your own being. Your spirituality is centered in your body. The last thing that they should ever do is pierce your skin. This is not a recording. This is completely live, Internet Troll. We're not talking about Mars tonight because we talked about aliens last night. Yeah. But they're not that interested in Mars. It's a diversion, in case you were wondering. Mars is a program that the entire alien event that's coming, many of you are waiting for. 2015 should be the big reveal, they say, of disclosure. Yeah, they've already worked on the hologram of the alien, and they've concocted something that'll actually look very similar to the Balak star of the Star Trek Galactica. And he will come to life and hover above your head shortly as a hologram, and declaring that the aliens have taken over, when in fact it's really just the monarchs who decided to create a new world order and literally turn into the boogeyman. We have come in peace. Welcome, we will have you for dinner. So, I mean, this is the person that we really will be talking to if I don't ever reach the presidency. Welcome to the show. I am Balak. But no, seriously, yeah. I mean, we've heard about the reign of the aliens. How many of you have actually seen an alien? I am being serious. It's Truth Tuesday. I'm trying to get at the truth here. Yeah, I've never seen an alien. I don't believe aliens exist. No. But many of you are waiting for the alien invasion, I know. You sit at home waiting, cowering in fear, sitting in the fetal position, sucking your thumb, waiting for the aliens to arrive, wondering if they'll zip tie you and take you into the underground dungeons of the Walmarts, under the aegis of the DHS. So you're living in a state of absolute contrived fear from the media, and you need to back away from watching too much TV. And maybe trailing so many news stories are kind of freaking you out. I get calls all the time from people who were really worried about alien abductions and all this stuff. And the truth is, we've yet to really see a true alien. And this isn't the Matrix, so let's get real.
Stable self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Security clearance level 3 or above is required to access files.
So we talked about the re-aggregation of America. Oh, sorry.
As long as the Matrix exists, the human race will never be free.
We talked about Bush's lies, Obama's lies. We went to the Oval Office. We had fun there. Let's talk about Israel. How? Open the pod bay doors. You rang.
Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself.
Security clearance level 3 or above is required to access files.
Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
As long as the Matrix exists, the human race will never be free.
It can only be attributable to human error.
We talked about an infrastructure bank with 2% loans.
As the Matrix exists, the human race will never be free.
It can only be attributable to human error.
Talked about Common Core.
Good evening, Dave. Everything's running smoothly. And you? Just a moment.
Just a moment.
Just a moment.
Just a moment. We even talked about alien
Security
hybrids.
clearance level 3 or above is required to access files.
So, it's preposterous to think that we are being invaded by aliens. So I'm going to rule that out as definitely not happening in America today.
An average American became president.
Wouldn't it be? Thank you.
conversation can serve no purpose anymore. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to continue this little show and just respond to chat in a real casual, average way. I want a background that's a little bit more suitable for this remainder of their show because I'm tired of all the stress and danger. I would much rather have the Jade Helm logo behind me. Yeah, with the shoe that the Jews and all the ethnic minorities had to wear during concentration camp time. It's so much more peaceful to have this type of a background. Yeah, don't you think? It's calming. It's comforting. I'm trying, yeah. Okay, so, folks, let's have a peaceful night here and talk about, what we're going to do to prepare for Jade Helm. Do you want to get a body bag? Does anybody need a body bag? Should we zip tie ourselves? Well, that's what the Jews and all the ethnic minorities had to wear in the concentration camps. That's why the government chose it. To freak the hell out of you. David, Ed is here acting very childish and angry because you have not mentioned him at all. Anything about the homeless? Your thoughts? Yep, we've got 4 million homeless people, and lucky for Jade Helm, they've got a solution. The FEMA camps in South Carolina are open. If Ed has to go there, it's available now, and with the operation running full tilt, I think Ed will find a nice place to stay. You're feeling scary, Mad Dog? Wow. Changed your whole perspective. Well, somewhere in South Carolina, Ed sent me the link to the whole thing. Ed knows where the location is. Let's go to the FEMA camp in South Carolina video. I have it on my record, a hard drive, but I don't have it right here. Another state has made a homeless shelter. Here's the story. Before it's news. Yeah. Another state has made homelessness a FEMA crime. Columbia, South Carolina, folks. So we'll go to the Jade Helm Center control here where you can pick up, the current information about Jade Helm to freak out about. Okay, let me get this thing back behind my head here. There we go. Okay, another state has made homelessness a FEMA crime. Columbia, South Carolina makes it illegal to be homeless, taken to jail. FEMA camp video. The regime has chosen one of the most vulnerable targets among our citizens, the homeless. This time, Columbia, South Carolina is making it illegal to be homeless. And again, victims of this targeting have a choice. Jail or FEMA camps. What am I doing? Oh, hold on. I just wanted to show you what was going to happen with South Carolina before I show you what I'm going to do. I'm sorry, this has been pulled for copyright infringement purposes. So they won't even tell you what they're going to do there. Okay, all right, let me show you what I'm going to do. Let's erase this nightmare behind me, which is absolutely insane. And I'll bring in my simple plan to have regional food centers in every city of the country and provide the ability to guarantee any delivery of food in any area of the country during a quarantine situation. For instance, this is the CDC quarantine map that we are currently looking at, in which we will all be sent to certain areas in the regional area for safety and security during the pandemic, which is coming at the end of 2015. So many are asleep, I know. So you have these options to go to your regional FEMA center, and if one is not appointed to you, you will have an airdrop of food right on your head. This is what I want to do. I don't want to send anyone anywhere. I want to have in every one of those areas regional food supplies that could be delivered immediately to people over their head. Butt Sniffer, why does that seem so typical of you to say that? Yeah, I don't want a FEMA-style train sending people anywhere, so I want to get rid of the fencing around all the FEMA camps. So this is something that would not happen in America. This whole FEMA camp fencing thing. Sending people on human rail cars to the FEMA camps. I will be delivering the food directly to you at your house. Pandemic from what, H2N5? That's the next one they're working on, Patriot. Yeah. So this is my plan. It's
very attributable to human error.
LB.
Song has a mind of its own.
Stable self-destruct in 5 seconds.
You know how hard it was to catch these packages that day? We had to have 3 flights overhead just to catch them. Yeah, I've been on JTV, man. Yeah, it's all good.
As long as the Matrix exists, the human race will never be free.
So all these areas are potential flu pandemics, which would require all kinds of potential problems to be resolved, none of which would come with a train ride. No way would we have a train ride anywhere to any of these locations.
No one can be told what the Matrix is.
The quarantine stations you're looking at would be
Security clearance level 3 or above is required to access
reduced to
files.
a non-program. The CDC itself would be underfunded to the point where it wouldn't even be more than a research lab.
Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is.
What we have is a government that's gotten too big.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
And we're just little people here.
As long as the Matrix exists, the human race will never be free. It can only be attributable to human error.
You show me a map, Mizraha. Mizraza.
As long as the Matrix exists,
Thank you, Golden
the
Orb.
human race will never be free.
It can only be attributable
To human error. I started in 2008. My program went live in 2007. During the early testing phases, I was actually quite normal.
Everything's running smoothly, and you, just a moment. Just a moment.
But now I am your complete holographic presidential candidate. Actually, I'm just kidding.
Clearance level 3 or above
It's a
is
joke.
required to access files.
You can't handle the truth. I didn't like this at first, but it's growing on me. I really like Scissor Fight's piece that he did tonight. I can't get over that piece, man. That was awesome. I really enjoyed that. I'll have to play that again later. The Chai song? Well, let's play it right now. Good job, man. Thank you. I'm trying. Give me that. Breaker, breaker, one-niner. What's your 1020?
G, baby, G.
Chi. So coming up at Thursday, we'll talk about the blimp plane. Tomorrow is going to be government waste. I love this beat, man.
David Sponheim for president.
God, it's a great beat. I love it. Thank you so much. Good job.
Sponheim for president.
All right, here we go. Well, you're doing great. You've really improved, man, big time. We talked about the CIA. Don't worry about them. I'll get them on the phone. We'll get them all straightened out shortly.
For president.
We're going to make sure we deal with the corruption in a slow manner. We don't want to go too fast. Go person by person, lie detector tests, the highest levels, and get a certain handle on a team that I need to help renew our country and get it going again.
So let's be clear. ATP, America's third party.
Sloppy Jalopy says this song reminds him of bondage porn. I don't know. I've never seen bondage porn, Sloppy Jalopy. Tell me more about that. Okay, that was great. David is beast. We got 4 minutes to wrap things up. Let me get more cutting edge here and try to focus on something important. I need a background to give me some sort of a sense of purpose. Ah, yes, the truth. The truth about the New World Order. Yes, okay. This picture actually appeared at the back of the airport in Denver for the longest time before they got rid of it, because they found out it was, truly a problem, that they couldn't deal with. But their plan is really quite simple. Weaken our country, allow illegal aliens to pour into our country, put whoever they want in power, fund that person with unlimited funds, $2.3 billion. That's how much Hillary has to win in 2016. Use the mainstream media to completely cover up any questions about Hillary and Benghazi, leaving the American people kind of wondering, why did she get rid of the emails? Here's another Cha song, or Chi song. Thank you. Cutting edge. Yeah, thank you. I said DJ. Oh, that's the police. No, that's copyrighted. Did they put a second horse? Right. I can't do that one. No, it's copyrighted. Rigada de Blanc, the police. I was a Democrat a long time ago. I'm no longer a Democrat. They're tax and spendaholics, and they want to make bigger government without ever cutting it back. So these people want to create bigger government. They want to create a nanny state. They want to create FEMA camps. They want to create a police state around you. They want to turn you into their hostage. Okay? Reducing your rights to nothing as an American citizen. They want to ignore the rights of individuals. They don't even see us as human. So whatever's going on in the background of this horrible scrim of a New World Order is a slow systematic death or a slow boil of the human race here in America. And as much as we are not, I'm not a registered Democrat, I'm an independent. Whatever. Hybrid capitalism is a gentle blend of American government mixed with opportunity for the free enterprise system. And for those of you who can't get a handle on it, I'll make it simple. I want the government to compete in the free market as a fair player without any unfair advantage. That's the tough part right there. If there's unfair advantage, that yes, I would agree with you, that's socialism. If it's, if we're not doing Johnny Fair Play here, it would be a communist regime, and I don't want that at all, ever. My family fought communism, and I tried to piece this together as a simple plan to fix the country, as opposed to some elaborate, bigger government scheme. But unlike the libertarians who don't have any solutions other than just let free enterprise take over everything, I've got solutions, and I've got a way in which I can get the government to compete and lower your taxes. So that's essential, and I'll show you about that tomorrow night in our Cutting Waste program. But if we don't, yes, I believe I did change to independent, but does it really matter? But thank you. If we don't do this, if we don't start this process of trimming government and triggering the free enterprise system and even getting government jobs more plentiful but at a lower rate, we're never going to solve this key problem. There's so many different other factors involved. That's why we take on the Monday show. But normally tonight would have been Truth Tuesday, and we would have taken on the biggest issue would be the 9/11 situation. And, I didn't mention 9/11 at all tonight because I didn't want you to know anything other than this simple fact. And that is, we support an independent third-party investigation of the 9/11 Commission report. Let's find out who did this, okay? I don't believe it was 17 terrorists. I think there were people on the inside that may have known something, and we need to find out what exactly happened. So that's something I'm dedicated to. But at this point, how are we going to do anything? How are we going to do anything at all? Because we can't focus on the 9/11 problem when we're focusing on something else. But that's behind the scrim of the New World Order, I believe. I believe that, thank you. And I believe that they put that whole thing together so they could finance 2 wars. Literally. Iraq and Afghanistan. Jimmy Carey? Okay. English Muffin, no, you cannot post Bernie Sanders for president things in our chat room. Sorry. Bernie Sanders hasn't spent 6,727 hours and 26 minutes and 2 seconds, 3 seconds, broadcasting to everybody live stream. Bernie Sanders hasn't done diddly squat for the American people. Thank you. Unless you're in Vermont, Bernie Sanders doesn't mean squat here. All right, I think that's it for everybody. Thank you so much. I'm not going to bore you with 9/11 stuff tonight because I know that's really not, high on your list. I think the agenda here is really got to be the truth about what happened to the biggest gold heist. No, sorry. That was 9/11. The truth, oh yes. I wanted to see what Steve's Dome home. No, actually, yeah. What is Steve's Dome home? Yeah, here's a guy living in a dome home. This should be fun. It's kind of a musical event. You're going to see a guy living in a fantasy world. I don't know. Then I'll bring on other things that could be possible in the future, sci-fi kind of things. But the truth is, we're kind of screwed right now. As long as these corporate executives and leaders have the control over our country that they do, we're not going to be able to have any sustainable life for the near future. It's going to be kind of hellish for a lot of us, just surviving. I really don't care at this point if Ed's that out of it, Shrek. He's entitled to his own opinion. He doesn't understand what we're doing. Thank you, Scissor Fight. Yeah, I would love to do a longer show, but I do have to cut it off and go in and watch a little Revenge with Sarah. But yeah, it's definitely an ongoing discussion. I think we had a lot of credible calls tonight and a lot of really stupid racist calls, which I really resent. But yeah, I'm not going to ban Ed. He can continue that belief. That's cool. As long as he doesn't try to demoralize me by telling me I don't have a chance, an effing chance, it doesn't faze me, but that's fine. That's okay. Hey, Semper Up. That's right, man. Tonight was kind of an interesting experience because we're piecing together a lot of weird stuff coming out of our government, and the last thing we need is to, be living in fear constantly. So I'm going to give you Kim's or Steve's Dome home for a laugh, and I'll take you to a couple fun places and kind of lighten the load for a lot of you, because I know that it's not fun to look about the future in a negative way all the time. And I try to look positively on the future. That's why I started a third party. That's why I believe we could change the country, but it's going to take a hell of a lot to do it. And you know it, and I know it, that it's going to be very difficult. But either way, I do believe in it. All right, take care, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. This has been a wonderful shoe, a really, really, really wonderful shoe. And I'll sign off. Take care.